What a fascinating coaching matchup this is. This was back in 2010, and that in one picture does tell
Absolutely
1,000 words.
Sums it up. Both intense guys, but Dana had a good year here, and that's what Mike Gundy told us, is that it was great for both of us.
And there they are now on opposite sidelines. So much offensive wizardry between these coaching staffs. So many guys who were with Mike Gundy who are now with Dana Holgorsen in Morgantown. But Holgorsen was funny. We talked to him earlier in the week. He said, you know, I've spent way more time on the opposite sideline than I ever did on the home sideline here because of his history with Texas Tech, working with Mike Leach.
But rest assured, there's something to prove today with Dana Holgorsen. He's installed both of these offenses, and it's kind of like looking in a mirror here today. He wants his team to perform very well coming back here to Stillwater.
And an immediate headache for Oklahoma State. They're 120th in college football in kickoff return defense, and they're going to possibly kick it to Tavon Austin, who's averaging 33 yards a return, has a touchdown of 100 yards against Kansas State. So the biggest weapon for West Virginia is on the field right away.
And we watch so much football during the year, but every once in a while when you put on the coach's tape, a guy just absolutely explodes off the screen. That's number one, Tavon Austin. What a dynamic player in college football.
Stedman Bailey right there. If he is completely healthy, he is another weapon for West Virginia. He has not been. He's battled some ankle problems.
You're right. If Bailey is truly back, this offense is a different animal with both of those guys on the field together.
Mention the wind, and it looks as if Oklahoma State's going to be kicking a little bit into it. And Quinn Sharp, who does everything for kicking for Oklahoma State. And he rips that one. So you don't have to worry about Tavon Austin if A, you don't kick it near him, and B, you kick it through the end zone. So here is Geno Smith, the senior from Miami, went to Miramar High School, which is on the border of Broward and Miami-Dade counties. Unbelievable numbers, even with the recent struggle with interceptions, still completing 72% of his passes, 29 touchdowns, 3 INTs, almost 2,700 yards.
Oh, just ridiculous numbers, and that's with it stalling the last 3 weeks. But what he has to get back to is trusting the guys on the field with him.
And you see the winds, 33 miles an hour. They go with Austin in motion on the fake jet sweep, but it's Geno Smith, and he's not going to get very far, maybe just a yard. Shamil Gray, number 7, one of the tacklers for the gray-clad Oklahoma State. Make that Gary Cowboys.
And Geno isn't typically a runner with the football. He's very good with his feet at scrambling, but it's scramble to throw as opposed to scramble to run to pick up yards.
This is Andrew. He looked like he was going to hand it off to Andrew Bowie, and instead Geno Smith has to eat it for a loss of 3. Calvin Barnett, 99, in on the stop.
I think you're exactly right, Dave. I think it was a miscommunication. I think Geno Smith wants to hand this ball off to number 13 right there and just didn't get it to him. Didn't open up and step far enough. I guarantee you the game plan was not this. Hey, let's let Geno Smith run it twice to start the game.
The first play, yes, not the second one. Now empty backfield on 3rd and a dozen. Unbelievable amount of time for Smith, middle of the field, and it's going to be incomplete. Intended for Connor Aurelia. And with West Virginia having to move around some receivers with a couple of players who are not on the team.
A little jousting down the field right at the very end, but what you saw on that 3rd and long was this. The template, rush 3 or 4, cover with 7 or 8, and make Geno Smith and his core of wide receivers make plays down the field. They've been inconsistent at it the last 3 weeks.
I mentioned receivers who are not here. Ivan McCartney is not with the team today, and Tavares Colpin left the team for what the university is calling personal reasons. That's Charlie Moore, who can't handle the punt with that wind of 33 miles an hour, and he's going to get a halfway decent return out of it, out of bounds at around the 22. 57-yard punt. So we're going to take a look now at Clint Shelf. This is his team and his moment, Kelly. He's been around. He's not new to this program, a junior from Enid, Oklahoma, but this is the first opportunity he gets to take the first snap of the game.
And remember, he was 3rd team coming out of the quarterback competition in the spring, and the junior ended up really on the shelf, and he went to work in the summertime, came back a better quarterback, and now he gets his opportunity to play.
That's Josh Stewart, number 5, in motion. And they go to the ground right away. And you go to the top back in the Big 12, and Joseph Randall, and the junior from Wichita, Kansas, able to move the ball almost to about the 37-yard line as Cecil Level makes the stop.
Very good zone blocking outside on the left side, and this is the difference between one offense and the other. Oklahoma State has a dynamic running back and therefore a running game, and West Virginia just cannot match that offensively.
They run for 220 yards on average this season. Randall again. And breaking one tackle, gets out. You see Level coming in, but Isaiah Bruce, number 31, the top tackler for West Virginia, as we bring you the Oklahoma State Impact Players, brought to us by Chick-fil-A.
We've already seen Randall. That's the difference in these offenses, the run game. Quinn Sharp is a tremendous weapon in the punting game, and then Charlie Moore, he has to kind of be that next guy to Josh Stewart, the go-to receiver for this offense.
Little tunnel screen here to Stewart, and he will get the first down. Bruce in there again, number 31, and also Level, but that's the third tackle for the safety for West Virginia's defense. That's a 10-yard pickup, and we are at midfield, almost to midfield, the 49-yard line.
And you already see Oklahoma State getting into that rhythm that this spread offense lives on, and they get it to their touch guy, which is Stewart. He had 56 catches coming into the day. They love to get him the ball in that screen game.
With the threat of a run game, Shelf gets it out to Kai Staley, the fullback. And you don't get a lot of fullbacks catching passes these days in college. That's his 8th catch. He actually averages 18 yards a catch. And it'll be second down and 4 here for OSU.
And OSU will use multiple running backs today. Sometimes they'll have 3 of them in the backfield at the same time.
And they're going to run the reverse this time with Stewart. He's got room. Oh, he's got a lot of room. Gets a great block downfield. Stewart breaking in. He'll score. That's a 46-yard touchdown run for Josh Stewart.
We talked about fireworks. It certainly didn't take long. And this offense is about spreading the football field and making the defense defend it. And when you miss tackles out in space, the result is someone ends up in the end zone.
5 plays, 78 yards in a minute and 35 seconds. And just like that, we've seen some immediate offense from Oklahoma State. And Kelly, they ran a little trick play.
A great block down the field by Daniel Kogan right there, and Stewart takes it into the end zone early and often. The Cowboys off to a great start today.
Hard end around, winds up with the first rushing touchdown for Stewart this season.
And I think Dana Holgorsen realizes his defense is not going to be able to hold up. This is going to be a shootout that West Virginia's offense is going to have to keep up with.
But they're not going to do anything in the kicking game with back-to-back touchbacks as Chick-fil-A brings us our West Virginia Impact Players.
Yeah, we've already talked about Austin. The more you can get number 1 the football, the better you are. And Bowie, they have to have a running game, be somewhat balanced offensively. And Carl Joseph, a really talented free safety on the back end, has to get everyone lined up right.
And only a freshman. They were asking a lot of this talented player out of Orlando. There is Tavon Austin. Speaking of talented players, he's a senior out of Baltimore. Plenty of time for Smith. Middle of the field, and he just missed. Open that time was Stedman Bailey, a redshirt junior out of Miami. All right, it is 33-mile-an-hour wind, Kelly. Let's get right to it. You played the position. How do you deal with the wind when you're a QB?
You know, I was watching the quarterbacks and the special team guys before the game on the field, and I didn't really see it affecting them that much. That ball seemed to be driven over the receiver's head. I put that more on Geno Smith than the wind.
This time a little quicker, and there's Bailey again. Short of the first down, he gains about 7, but that is a good sign for West Virginia. If Stedman Bailey is healthy, and you talked about it at the top of the show just moments ago, that's his 60-second catch. That just makes life easier for Austin.
No question, and that's exactly right. When you have 2 guys on the field that the defense has to figure out a way to defend, the better off you are offensively.
And Sean Alston. So you've got Austin, number 1, and Sean Alston, number 20, now into the game at running back. He stays in the block. Smith pumps once, and that's a first down for West Virginia. Their first of the game, J.D. Woods making the grab. Well, here's what Gino did. The first 5 games really spoiled us.
Unbelievable, right here in particular. That's unreal. But I think that the last 3 games, the defensive competition went up. But also, I think the offensive line didn't play particularly well, and the playmakers down the field weren't being aggressive at attacking the football.
And we're going to get a timeout called by the Cowboys. West Virginia won those first 5, then lost to Texas Tech, Kansas State, and then last week to TCU, some of the better teams in their new conference, the Big 12. It's that kind of day on the Oklahoma State campus. Few folks made the trip from Morgantown, West Virginia, a passionate area about their Mountaineers, but it's not an easy trip to make. Country Roads, of course, the song that West Virginia fans sing at home when they win. You got to drive to Pittsburgh, that's 80 miles. You got to fly a couple of times, either through Oak City or Tulsa. Then you got to drive approximately the same distance to Stillwater, or you can drive 17 hours and just go pedal to the metal.
Nice. Put some pressure on the fans. Welcome to conference realignment.
Lee Corso's favorite mascot is here. Geno Smith off the first down for West Virginia. The handoff to Andrew Bowie, and he disappears. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Calvin Barnett, a junior, who made that 75-mile drive from Tulsa on his recruiting trip, is in there on the stop, second down and 10.
And you can see West Virginia right now going with a little more tempo. They try to take the starch out of this defense early.
And popping through the hole is they go to Tavon Austin on the ground. And when you have that kind of talent, as he's just about a yard short of a first down, even I know you get him the ball all the time.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you have a touches list. He has his own personal column on the play list. And Dana Holgerson has a really small playlist, but about half of them ought to be number 1, because the more you can get him the ball, the better off you're going to be here today.
46% this season on third down, West Virginia. Basic ground game. Bowie, the spin move off his own man, and he's going to lose yardage. Oklahoma State will stop him. Anthony Rogers was in there for the gray-shirted Cowboys, who didn't know. The players had no clue what their uniform was going to be until about an hour before kickoff.
You like the choice?
It's fourth down. How about that?
Yeah. Third and manageable, and this is what West Virginia has to do, is they have to be able to run the ball so that they can pass it with an advantage, and they have to obviously do a more efficient job than that play.
Charlie Moore is back deep, number 17, along with David Glidden, number 13. Tanner Bittencourt, interesting, both these teams utilize just one kicker, basically, a punter and a specialist. And a fair catch made. Pretty good field position for the West Virginia defense here as Glidden makes the fair catch. After a dramatic comeback win last week, the undefeated Irish look to continue their quest for perfection. Now quarterback Everett Golson and Heisman hopeful Manti Te'o lead Notre Dame against the Eagles. Saturday Night Football presented by Windows 8. Number 4 Notre Dame takes on Boston College tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. How about the fact those guys wear the same number? Usually duplicate numbers are one guy's a scrub.
That is interesting.
Those are not scrubs, those two. Speaking of number 5s, that's Josh Stewart, who has the Oklahoma State touchdown, moving in motion. Clint Shelf, and there's a tunnel screen. And so far, that play working extremely well. To everything Josh Stewart is touching right now was worked out very well for the Cowboys. First down.
And Josh Stewart came into the game with 56 touches, and this is why they give him on the tunnel screen up inside. And remember, with the spread offense, this is essentially an expansion of their run game. It's very high efficiency, and Stewart can run well in open field.
Now back on the ground, they go to Joseph Randle, the #1 runner in the Big 12, who's approaching the 1,000-yard mark. He is dumped by that freshman we talked about, Carl Joseph, #8, out of Orlando. The first true freshman to start at free safety since Robert Sands did it in 2008.
And what you're going to see out of West Virginia defensively, they play a lot of three-man structures up front, three-man line, and then they mix it up on the back end. But you're right, the bell cow as a freshman is Joseph, #8, on the back end.
And that's incomplete for Randall. And that's not a lateral. It is an incomplete pass. So it's going to be 3rd down and 7.
Randall's typically a really good receiver out of the backfield, and he didn't look like he picked that ball up early right there. That wasn't a very good effort.
And he's got 21 receptions, not for much yardage. He's more of a possession type receiver.
But this is where West Virginia has to figure it out. They have to 3rd and long for an offense. They have to find a way to get off the field defensively.
Well, both teams at 48% 3rd down. Defensively for West Virginia, that's not good. Oklahoma State will not improve their 48% 3rd down percentage. Couple of hands on that one. Incomplete. Blake Jackson, #18, was the intended receiver. Ismail Banks almost had the pick.
And really, this should have been a catch right over the middle, the dig route from the opposite side, and just batted up in the air by #18 Jackson, and he's the big body, almost a tight end running that inside receiver position. But man, #34 Banks had a takeaway right in his hand.
Terrence Garvin also had a chance too. Now kicking into Tavon Austin on the punts is no fun either, but Quinn Sharp's a boomer back there at the punt. He is the top special teams player in the Big 12 a year ago, and he has helped get the ball inside the 20 following a 47-yard boot. Geno Smith and West Virginia come back for their 3rd possession when we return. Than I do, and I sometimes don't even know what a carrot looks like if it's on my plate. 1st and 10 on this breezy day in Stillwater. That's a lateral back to Tavon Austin, and he's got company. That's going to be a loss back to the 17-yard line as we throw it to the studio. Remarkable victory for Florida. I can only imagine how nervous folks were in the Swamp. 3rd down and 3 after the completion to Stedman Bailey for a gain of 8. Little pressure from the edge, and they go to the other side, and that pass not perfect, and it's going to be short of the 1st down. Dustin Garrison, #29, the sophomore from Pearland, Texas, made the grab. Tyler Johnson in there on the stop, and Dana Holgerson has been rough on headsets in the past. This time he calmly tucks it into the back of his pants, but he can't be too thrilled.
Yeah, and decides to punt nonetheless, and this is what I'm talking about with Geno Smith. The defense showed pressure. His offensive line blocked it up really well, and he threw a poor pass to his outlet receiver. Inaccurate balls to running backs mean you don't convert on 3rd down. That's on the quarterback. That ball placement just simply has to be better than that.
But you go back to that disaster on 1st down when they lost a couple of yards on the lateral. Now we have whistles and our first penalty flag of the game, and our referee, Mike DeFee.
Well, what defenses have forced West Virginia to do is just be more efficient and make those little plays.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Well, that's not being very efficient.
And look at this formation here on the punt attempt. They're all over the place, and the bottom line is, at the end of the day, you have to cover the field and get free releases as best you can. That's a really interesting look at it.
Bittencourt, that's a pretty good kick. High and into the sun, which has just popped out. We haven't seen much of it today. Moore's not going to go anywhere. He got smothered way back at the 30-yard line. A 46-yard punt and a -2-yard return. Well, the Cleveland Browns have the weekend off, so Brandon Wheaton came by to check on his alma mater. You see what he did here.
Not bad.
Yeah, that was okay.
That'll work.
He would like to do that well at Cleveland, as would the Browns.
Yeah,
but
Dana Holgerson obviously was here and running this same offense, and what a guy to do it with, and that's what they hope Wes Lunt is. lofty expectations, but same type of skill set. A gunslinger, pocket passer, big arm. That's all about what Brandon Wheaton is.
But Lunt not starting this game. He was cleared to play after suffering a concussion last week as the handoff goes to Randall, who busts through a hole before he's brought down again by the safety, Cecil Level. Lunt is able to play, but it's Clint Shelf's team, and right now he's moving it.
And right up the middle, and this is exactly where West Virginia has a tough time defensively. And you can see Wheaton, the quarterback, knows what a friend a good running game is to a quarterback.
And Randall's got 34 yards already after that 12-yard pickup.
And what a great way to get Shelf settled in his first start here today. Run the ball effectively.
And that's the one thing that I think people forget about is you see another 4-yard pickup and a little pushing after the play. There are no flags. The officials jumping in very quickly and separating the players. Terrence Garvin made the stop. That is Darwin Cook, a junior out of Cleveland, who got a little rowdy there for West Virginia. But what a weapon it is. People just think Oklahoma State. They immediately think of Zach Robinson and Brandon Wheaton and throwing the ball all over the field.
220 yards rushing a game. I mean, that absolutely stresses a defense.
Jeremy Smith is the running back now, number 31, and a good tackle in space there by Darwin Cook. Short gain, going to set up 3rd down and about 3.
And the context, obviously, of that running game is a veteran group up front for Oklahoma State that is very good, not only in pass protection, obviously, which you have to be, but they're very good at sorting out looks in the running game.
Pressure from West Virginia. Shelf hanging in there, throws, and a diving grab made at the 30-yard line by Josh Stewart. First down for the Cowboys. 18-yard pickup.
You can see what Shelf is looking at. Pressure coming into his face, and then drove the ball in the corner route to Stewart. Very well executed by the Cowboys on that play.
And Shelf throwing the ball well in this swirling 30-plus mile-an-hour Oklahoma wind. And more blocking at the point of attack and more yards for Randall. He picks up about 3 before Kyle Rose, in your picture there, number 93, a redshirt freshman from Centerville, Ohio, making the stop. His 17th tackle on the year.
And what Shelf is looking at the line of scrimmage is where do we have leverage and where do we have numbers. It determines my running play and it determines my pass play.
Back on the ground again, flagged down, it looked like, or that might have been a yellow towel from a West Virginia player. Level in there on the stop. That is not a flag. That's just either a shoe or something yellow that West Virginia has. So it's going to be 3rd down and a yard to go.
And West Virginia defensive coordinator Joe DeForest obviously was here, so he knows this offense really well also. And he said, item number 1, we have to stop the run and then get after the quarterback. They haven't done step number 1 yet.
And will they do it here? No. It's another 1st down. And this game plan for Oklahoma State, as Jeremy Smith picks up, looks like the old Southwest Conference. Let's just run it, man. Not the new Big 12 where you got all these high-powered offenses.
Yeah, it is really the modern version of the wishbone. Spread the field, get it to all areas of the field, and run it effectively. And right now, the Oklahoma State is getting that done.
From the 19, 1st and 10, the 11th rushing play, and that's a great defensive play by Isaiah Bruce, 2nd leading tackler in the Big 12, number 1 tackler for the Mountaineers, and he flipped Jeremy Smith, 2nd and 12.
And Staley, number 9, was in there, and he's supposed to cut that guy off right there, and he throws the shoe duster on Bruce, and Bruce comes in and blows it up in the backfield. But that's that big back going in, number 9, Staley, and escorting Randall up the middle, and wasn't very effective on that play.
Now just the 3-man rush. Shelf going to go for the end zone. Got a touchdown! Once again, Josh Stewart. 21 yards. He was wide open. And Stewart has accounted for both the Oklahoma State touchdowns, and there's Brandon Wheaton.
There you go.
A little dap for his teammate.
Absolutely. And Shelf in his first start knows who to get the ball to. Stewart is that guy. What a great route and a really good throw.
So Stewart has scored on an end around and now on a bullet from Shelf And it is Oklahoma State in front. Any questions about Clint Shelf being able to run this football team are being answered right now. Scoring drive. Josh Stewart has been the man of the match so far for the Cowboys.
Yeah, he was the man of the match coming into this game. They hope that he's that next great receiver.
I think he is.
State. I think you're right. Remember, they lost Tracy Moore against Kansas. They expected him to be that next go-to guy, but tell you what, number 5 Stewart has stepped up big time.
And one thing that hasn't happened yet for West Virginia is a kickoff return. Bailey, that was a hard kick to handle, and he decides to take a knee. Let's go back, Kelly, and take us through the TD.
And Stewart is right here, and he's going to run his route and stress that high safety. Once he gets on that high safety, he has essentially a two-way break. There's room inside. The quarterback reads it, throws a nice ball, nice route, very well executed. But if you can get free to the high safety, that safety's in a big bind.
And not for nothing is the kick play for Oklahoma State, 120th, not kick play, but kick return defense, 120th in the country. Well, when you keep getting touchbacks, you don't have to worry about it against spectacular returners like what West Virginia brings.
That's the way to defend that return game, no doubt about it.
Geno Smith now going to have to engineer a comeback. And he goes through his procession, throws it incompletion, second down and 10. Let's go to the studio for a visit. Yeah.
Blows ahead. 15 yards. Automatic. First down.
And while we showed you that, watch this as you see a roughing the passer, a blow to the head on Calvin Barnett. Or actually, that's not 89,
yeah, right,
Nigel
89.
Nicholas. 89, not 99.
Those gray uniforms are difficult to see the numbers. I wish they would have gone with another combination, but you're right. Nichols gets there late and throws that big paw up onto the quarterback's face mask.
So a big break for the Mountaineers. Geno Smith turning to his left and fires. That's not going to be a first down. Stedman Bailey in on the catch. He had to actually jump across the first down mark to get that. So let's see where they mark him. A couple of yards short. It'll be second down and 2. And we haven't seen Tavon Austin. Unlike Josh Stewart, who's the all-everything guy, we really haven't seen much out of Tavon Austin yet. And Bailey again. And that's going to be a first down. For the first time today, the Mountaineers are in opposing territory. Broderick Brown on the stop.
And this is why you haven't seen Tavon Austin. And he's getting special protection or attention off to the right. And then the dig route by Bailey opposite of Austin. And that's what this offense has lacked. Bailey's been banged up, so essentially all the attention has been on Tavon Austin the last couple of weeks.
You got a good look at what a nice throw that was by Geno Smith. Looking down the field, looking for the end zone, looking for Austin, and it's incomplete. And you also see 2 gray-clad Cowboys running with Austin, including Justin Gilbert, the quarterback, number 4.
And that's exactly why the pass should not have gone there. You have it exactly right. He was doubled over the top and underneath, and there was an outlet receiver, running back Ryan Clark, number 32, standing out in the flat. The nearest defender was about 15 yards away.
Flags.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
I think we should get a world's strongest referee contest. I think we've got Mike
Defee. Weight programs, or what are we doing here?
Apparently, he found the 14,000 square foot weight room here at Oklahoma State.
Pipe right there.
Yeah, that's Hockley-like.
I mean, I didn't know that the officials had strength and conditioning programs.
Right now, Ed Hockley is running to his personal gym to party pump for tomorrow's game. Yeah, he can't let that happen.
That's impressive, though. That looks a lot like I saw you in the weight room.
Yeah, I was going on today, no question. Geno Smith decides to use a blocker, and he will be forced out of bounds after running about 40 yards. Shamil Gary chased him out of bounds. Looked like he was trying to go deep down the field, and he just pulled the parachute on that one a little early. So it's going to be third down and about 7. That's a 7-yard gain.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It was a maintenance type of run, a really good decision, good coverage down the field. And that's the best feat that you have as a quarterback, is when you use them appropriately like Smith did on that play.
And we're going to see a timeout called here by West Virginia on 3rd down and 7. Dana Holgorsen not overly happy with something. Maybe not the right personnel, or maybe not the right formation.
Or maybe all the above. He is just finding someone to lay into right now.
Yeah.
He's an intense man.
Yeah, it works him well, though. It's gotten him some very good success in a very short period of time at West Virginia. Well, we've got some tremendous football tonight. SEC and Pac-12 on our ESPN Primetime College Football lineup. 7 o'clock, Dan Mullen's Bulldogs on the road against Les Miles and the Tigers, who look to keep BCS bowl hopes alive. Then at 10:30, national title contender Oregon, led by their remarkable running backs Kenyon Barner and DeAnthony Thomas, take on the Golden Bears of Cal. 7 o'clock, Mississippi State LSU, then Oregon Cal at 10:30 tonight on ESPN and live on Watch ESPN.
I'm really interested to see if LSU has a hangover from last week. If they let Alabama beat them twice, we'll see if that happens.
See, West Virginia so far well off their normal percentage of 46.1 on 3rd down conversion. Smith in some serious trouble, but he's a big, strong quarterback, and now he's down, and his helmet came off. Lindell Johnson brought him down, number 27. Now, there's no penalty here. The helmet came off. So if you were thinking of going for it on 4th down, Geno Smith cannot participate in that play.
Yeah, Geno Smith makes a nice escape, but right there, the defender tries to decapitate. Number 27, Johnson, tries to decapitate Geno Smith, but you're exactly right. He has to go out for a play, and this play will actually count as the play he has to go out for.
Paul Millard is in the quarterback now, number 14, a redshirt freshman from Flower Mound, Texas, on 4th and 13. Plenty of time. Middle of the field. Millard into traffic. Caught. Touchdown. Stedman Bailey. Paul Millard came into the game 8 of 16 for 50 yards. He just threw 132 there for the 6-pointer.
Wow, when you come into play the quarterback position in an emergency situation, you have to be fearless. And in 4th and 14 entering the red zone, Millard steps up big time, and Bailey makes a play for him at the other end as well. And they've been inconsistent, have the playmakers for West Virginia lately, of making plays down the field. That was a tremendous play all the way around.
Well, West Virginia often scores quickly. They do it in just a tick over 2 minutes there. 6 plays, 75 yards. And how about Paul Millard, the redshirt freshman, with his 2nd touchdown pass of the season?
And notice the lack of pressure on the quarterback, and it gives Bailey an amazing amount of time to work across the middle of the field. No pressure whatsoever. Millard finally picks up number 3, Bailey, and then throws a nice ball. And watch the time it takes Bailey to work all the way across the field, middle open, throw the ball, and give number 3 a chance.
That's
good job.
16 touchdown catches now, Kelly, for Stedman Bailey on the year, and 32 on his career.
Yeah, and that's what West Virginia has lacked offensively, is in this spread offense. They work up and down the field between the 20s, but you have to have drive finishers in this offense, and Bailey has been that guy for this offense, but he's been banged up, and you can see what he can do. He can go up and get it.
Even more remarkably, it was 4th and long, with 13, 14 yards. You had to worry about your number 1 quarterbacks off the field for a play after getting
you're over
sacked.
there trying to find your helmet. You're packed full of Gatorade. You have no idea how to get to the field, and you go out there and say, hey, let's throw it to number 3 in the end zone.
Now the visor goes back on.
Absolutely. Turn the visor around, and hey, call me again when you need a touchdown.
I'm 1 for 1 on 4th down this season.
What's that quarterback rating, by the way?
I can't calculate that. 1,000.
That's
somebody,
a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely up there.
Somebody call Trent Dilfer. He'll have it for us. So now this stadium is kind of quiet. It had been quiet when Oklahoma State had the ball because they're being polite. Now they're just quiet because they're not terribly happy with what happened. And a kickoff return possibility here for Justin Gilbert. And look at this, he just took off like shot out of a gun. The kicker's not going to get him. Justin Gilbert with 1 man to beat. Will he get there first? Touchdown! "96-yard return." Look how how slowly, I'd love to take this, as you see, he's got one man to beat after taking down the kicker. I want to see that, and he is inbounds the entire way. Good job by the officials there. I've never seen a kickoff return start so slowly.
You know, it was very well blocked. It was a middle return. It was somewhat like a lead run in the run game. He had a lead blocker, and as soon as that blocker got his guy, he hit the afterburner.
Wow.
Well executed.
And there was no one there. And he really was so patient. He looked like a veteran running back using his blockers.
Watch the guys up front. Lead blocker, get a hat on a hat, and as soon as Gilbert sees that happen, and then he's just going to run by the kicker that can't even play tag football right there, and Gilbert takes it to the house. You know, he's in the end zone even if it was tagged because the kicker didn't officially get it.
No, that's true.
But you saw that relocating guys to the middle of the field. He had really 3 lead blockers. All of them sorted guys out. And then Gilbert had this extra gear that you could almost see it here. He hit the afterburner, and those little rubber pellets on the field that are in the turf, you could see there was like a rooster tail behind him.
That was unbelievable 0 to 60 speed. And there's the kicker.
And can you say answer if you're Oklahoma State?
Yep, Corey Smith dealing with little turf burn there as he was going for it.
Get that covered up. The kicker, turf burn's going to slow him down a bit.
Gosh. Okay, send your kicker complaints. If only you had a Twitter, if you're brave enough to have a Twitter account, people could complain to you. Touchback again, so West Virginia will take over at the 25-yard line. So now Geno Smith, I'm assuming he's coming back out.
He finds his helmet.
Well, there it is, right where it belongs. But everything was, you get we got the big touchdown, we got a huge break, the great play by the backup quarterback, and bam, just like that.
Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, West Virginia has to understand they're in a shootout here today. They have to get their offense on track. There are opportunities down the field in the passing game, as we've seen. Geno Smith has to find them.
Little play action fake that time to Garrison, who stays in the block, and Geno wants to go for it all, and that wind might have been a factor there. He was going to Stedman Bailey, who's getting almost all of the targets right now for the Mountaineers. Broderick Brown, the corner, was in there on the coverage. When we talked to Mike Gundy yesterday, he thought of this as an even offensive matchup. He thought, you know what, turnovers and special teams.
Special teams.
And you thought right away, okay, you know what, West Virginia has the edge there, at least as far as the return game goes. But so far, it's Oklahoma State with the big kickoff return. 2nd and 10. Out in the flat. Catch made there by Aurelia. We mentioned that West Virginia, Oklahoma State's had some injuries with their wide receivers. West Virginia is missing Ivan McCartney, who is not here, and Tavares Copeland, who left the team. So they're a little bit short as well of the receiver position.
Well, they have their 2 guys, Bailey and Austin. Those guys have to get the ball, they have to get open, and they have to make plays when they have opportunities.
A little pressure here from Oklahoma State. Nice, there's Austin. Good throw by Smith. That's going to be a first down. That'll temporarily stop the clock with 12 seconds to go.
And you can see West Virginia is going mock speed right now. They feel they have a rhythm. They want to keep the defense on their heels.
The umpire won't let them loose. Now he does, but the clock's running down to
great option right there.
You're going to have to wait till the end of the quarter to do it. Well, we thought we would get some points in this quarter. We didn't think we would get an incredible kickoff return, but we did. But West Virginia is on the move. This presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Ridiculously polished receiver at the college position, and his quarterback Brandon Whedon, both of them off this week, and a good-looking run by Andrew Bowie for West Virginia into Oklahoma State territory at the 48-yard line. Alex Elkins, leading tackler for the Oklahoma State defense, number 37, in there on the stop. What a comfort if you're Brandon Whedon to have been able just to, I'll just throw it to him.
Yeah.
Jeez. Geno Smith play action, guns it across the middle, and another catch for Stedman Bailey. A gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2. And Bailey now 6 catches unofficially. Dayton Lowe in there for the stop. 87 yards and a score. 7 catches for Bailey. Well, they talked in the past several weeks that Bailey wasn't healthy as he gets the first down. If he's got a bad ankle, I want that kind of a bad ankle.
He looks extremely healthy today. And so what they're doing is they're going 3 by 1 and putting Austin to one side and Bailey by himself on the opposite side. And they really like that matchup right now.
7 catches, 95 yards as he takes a break. 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers. Gino cranks the long throw, incomplete. Trying to get it out to K.J. Myers, a redshirt freshman from Jacksonville. 2nd down and 10.
And that's the kind of pass that Geno Smith has to hit today. Very good route by Myers and just a poor throw by Geno Smith at an open receiver.
Back to the ground. This is Garrison. And he runs into a bunch of Oklahoma State defenders, but not until he gains 9. So it'll be 3rd down and a yard. Lindell Johnson, 27, among the tacklers there for Bill Young's defense.
And you can see if West Virginia has a positive play, then they try to go Mach speed, turn around and try to run another play immediately. The running game is looking much better on this drive than it did the first quarter, where they had 8 attempts and only 3 yards.
Still plenty of time to get this off after all that communicating by Geno Smith. He'll hand it off to Dustin Garrison, and he will not make it. You see right on top of him is Elkins, 37, but also Anthony Rogers, number 94, in there to make the stop, and Khalib Levy in there, 45. 4th down. What do you do here, Kelly?
I think you have to go for it. There are a lot of points that are going to be scored here today, and I think Dana Holgorsen understands that. I think you go ahead and try to pick this up and get it in the end zone.
Sean Alston, number 20, is the tailback. They go jet sweep to Austin, trying to get the edge. He got the first down. Levy was in there, 45, to bring him down. They only needed 1. They got 2.
Well, the thing about taking Austin to the edge is he thins the defense out to the sideline, but he can plant his foot and get upfield at any moment right there. As soon as he sees a crease, he can go ahead and plant his foot and get the first down, or continue with his speed and take it outside. It's this running game we're seeing all of a sudden.
They're trying to shorten the game. Yeah, in the Big 12? No, I don't think so. Well, apparently they've caused a problem. A false start is going to be here, so on West Virginia.
False start. Offense number 67. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Left tackle Quentin Spain guilty of that. A little teeth grinding by Dana Holgorsen. You see what West Virginia has done on 4th down. Part of it is that Tyler Bittencourt, their kicker, does struggle a little bit. He's missed 6 out of 10 kicks. But also
he missed 6 out of 10 kicks. You are so kind on those kickers and punters. I don't understand where you come from sometimes.
I'm trying to balance you out. First 15. Smith's got time. Throws. That's out of bounds. Is that a catch? Oh, he caught it. Okay. Well, there's an official a lot closer than I am. The catch was made by Aurelia.
Well, there's thousands of people in this stadium that think Aurelia's feet were out of bounds before he actually possessed this football. I think they might be right. Remember, every play is being reviewed, and this one they're going to take an extra look at.
And we will break while Bob Usedich, the replay official, takes a look at this a little more closely to determine whether indeed it was a catch. Aurelia tried to tack that elbow down, but was his legs out of bounds? We'll find out.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
It didn't go very well in Stillwater as we take a look. And apparently the video evidence was not indisputable.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I think tie goes to how it's called on the field, essentially. When it stands, there isn't anything there that would allow him to overturn it, and I think rightly done.
Second down and 6, Andrew Bowie. First down, and he almost got loose. He got just inside the 10. They're going to mark him down at the 7-yard line. First and goal, West Virginia, and you see how quickly the Mountaineers trying to get the play in. And Bowie again. He gets hammered, but he gets inside the 5-yard line to about the 4. Hit by Levy, number 45.
And Bowie has been banged up a bit, but he brings a little something extra to this running game. He's really the only running back I saw on tape for West Virginia that runs angry. And you can see that in his runs on this drive.
Did they go to Austin here? Yes, they do. Trying to get to the edge. Oklahoma State read that well. It'll be third down and about a yard to go. You saw Calvin Barnett, 99, Tyler Johnson, number 40 in there. And Lowe as well. Anything that Tavon Austin does is going to draw attention.
Yeah, no question. There actually could have been a holding out there on the edge by Ryan Clark, number 32, that I don't think it was a holding that wasn't called. But this is where spread teams sometimes have an issue, is closing out drives when they're not real comfortable running the football.
They say he stepped out of bounds at the 2-yard line, so third and goal from the 2. Smith missed it. Trying to go to Bailey. Communication issue perhaps between the two. Now, fourth down and 2. What do you do here?
I think you go for it again. I think you showed your hand when you went for it on fourth down in a makeable field goal situation earlier, and they're 2-on-2 for 2 on fourth downs today. I think you go for it and try to get Bailey singled up on one side and get the ball to Austin, who's actually coming off the field right now on the other side, so that's not an issue.
So that
big in the backfield, though.
A little surprised that Austin's off the field. The handoff to Sean Alston, and he will not get there. Wrestled back by Shamil Gary, number 7, the strong safety from Tulsa, just absolutely dragged down Alston.
In West Virginia, when they want to muscle up, they will go 3 running backs in the backfield with Clark, Clay, sometimes Garrison or Bowie.
So Oklahoma State's defense has been maligned this season, but they come up with a big stop right there at the doorstep. Now their offense takes over in bad field position, but they had the advantage. That's a beautiful setting in Stillwater, Oklahoma. There's your score and time. Along with Kelly Stauffer, I'm Dave Lamont. Delighted you could join us on a breezy day. And Justin Blackman's Oklahoma State Cowboys. All right, now why are we showing this? This question has been held from us. Former Oklahoma State wide receiver just won the Blitnikoff Award in 2010 and 2011. Who was the only other repeat winner? Wow, good one. Gotta think about that as Oklahoma State. Look out here. Forward progress to about the 1-yard line, and a helmet coming off of Josh Francis, so he will have to come out for a play. So it's going to be second down and about 10.5. All right, I got to ask you, Tavon Austin not on the field on that fourth down play. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with it, because you can run the exact same play, put him in motion, and he attracts defensive eyeballs. And I think that was a mistake, taking him off the field.
Well, Oklahoma State very conservative in this position, and they're getting nowhere. It's going to be third down and 10. And you saw a solid hit put on by Doug Rigg, number 47, a junior from Oradell, New Jersey. Just straight ahead football with Joseph Randall, and it's not working for the moment.
And this is the other advantage of going for it on fourth down, and if you don't get it, your defense needs to hold the opposing offense in this backed up situation.
Well, they're just going power straight ahead. Look out here. I don't know if he made it. Let's see. The officials coming in from both sides, putting up their closed fists to signify fourth down. That he just got out of the end zone. It is that close.
3 straight runs that looked very similar. And remember who's at quarterback. Chelf is getting his first start. I think at the very end, he wiggles through and gets across that end zone line. But that was incredibly close. Right there, he's done. but it's the wiggle right at the end and the push.
Good call by the officials. I got to tell you, that might be, and I've watched a lot of Oklahoma State football since Mike Gundy took over. That might be the most conservative series in the history of Mike Gundy's coaching.
Hands down, no question about it. And I think it's indicative of having Chelf in a situation he hasn't been in a live game yet, and ultra conservative play calling.
And during all of that, they had a delay of game. Of course, half the distance to the goal here.
Half the distance of nothing is nothing, I think I learned in some math class along the way.
And you've got to deal with the wind, too. Quinn Sharp's a great kicker. That's his view right there. Oh my goodness. Now, Austin's got some room to run, though. And he is trying to set up his blockers, and he's getting some of that. Got about a 10-yard return, but that was an interesting pace on the return. A 73-yard punt by our count, and a 16-yard return. What a blast by Quinn Sharp, as if he were Bubba Watson.
Tavon Austin got a nice bounce at the end and had something to do with that football.
All right, let's get the answer to our Aflac trivia question. We were so busy with that exciting series, we have 3 straight runs into the middle of the line, that we didn't even grab our phones to get the answer to this. Justin Blackman won the Biletnikoff in 2010 and 2011. Do you have a guess? The only other repeat winner.
I have no guess at all. I was counting on you knowing this.
Michael Crabtree, Texas Tech, and a Dana Holgerson product. Straight ahead that time with Dustin Garrison for a couple, maybe 3 yards. 2nd down and 7 coming up.
Well, the first part of going forward on 4th and short at the goal line wasn't successful, but the second part was extremely successful. They get the ball back, does West Virginia, in very good field position.
All sorts of fake motion for Geno Smith to go deep down the field. Instead, he goes short to Austin. Stutter step, gets by 1, and he is very close to the marker. Kevin Peterson grabbed him, and maybe by the face mask. There's a flag down. Well, apparently this whole officiating crew pumps iron.
They go to the gym right before game time.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 1. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic, first down.
Yeah, number 1 on number 1. What a great weapon to have Austin as your outlet at the end. You can see right there, Peterson gets the hand on the face mask, and so they'll tack another 15 on. But West Virginia needs to find a way to get this ball in the end zone to get back in this game and keep this shootout going.
Austin off the field again. Bailey is to the near side, number 3, the other explosive West Virginia threat. Smith looking in that direction, avoids one, cannot avoid the other. He is sacked by Ryan Robinson. That's 2.5 sacks for the senior from Buford, Georgia this season. And another hat on the field, and that's Geno's helmet. So again, he has to come out, and the only West Virginia quarterback to throw a touchdown pass comes on the field.
Geno does a great job of avoiding the pressure. There are 3 guys actually that had an opportunity. Castleman was the first guy, and then his cohorts were there to clean it up. But watch out for Paul Millard coming in and throwing another touchdown pass.
He's 1 for 1, and he likes to do it down a distance that are long. 2nd and 18 here. And that was almost intercepted by Zach Craig. Well, there goes the QB rating. And there's another helmet off, and this time it's a West Virginia offensive lineman, Josh Jenkins, the left guard, 77.
And instead of throwing a touchdown, Millard almost throws a pick. Tavon Austin was coming across the field on a crossing route, a drag route, very shallow, and Zach Craig should have had that football.
3rd down and 18. Tavon Austin back on the field. Geno Smith back on the field for the Mountaineers. Time, Smith, high pass. Bailey's going to be chopped down short of the first down. So here's another 4th down and reachable situation, Kelly. It looks to be about 5 yards to go. Yep.
You don't trust your kicker. This is exactly where you need to go for it on the field. This is kind of no man's land. You gain nothing by punting, and you obviously have no confidence in the kicker.
Pressure up the middle. Smith handles it. Is it going to be enough for the first down? Off the block. Austin got it. certainly appeared that he got it. Mike Gundy is really hot about what he perceived to be a holding call right in front of the Oklahoma State bench, but it's a first down for West Virginia.
And what West Virginia's doing is bringing Trayvon Austin underneath all of that coverage and then hoping that his quickness and his speed can just move the chains, and it did on that play.
And now a big opportunity up the middle for Andrew Bowie, the sophomore from Jacksonville, Florida. He gets a first down.
And the rhythm of the spread offense is front and center right now. West Virginia feels good about what they're doing.
Remember, they went for it on 4th down from the 2-yard line and did not make it. That set up the field position, although the punt was tremendous. Bowie again on the ground, brought down by number 45, Caleb Levy. And that's going to be 2nd down and 6, maybe 7. Back on the ground this time. Oklahoma State is all over Garrison. He's tackled by James Castleman, 91. That's going to be a loss back to the original line of scrimmage, to the 17, loss of 3. So here's 3rd and 10 for Dana Holgerson's offense, and he wants something done right now with one of his substitutions.
And West Virginia is at their best in the run game when they're between the tackles. When they're going sideline to sideline, that isn't when they're effective.
2 out of 9, 3rd down for the Mountaineers today. They had a 16-play drive that didn't work last time. This is the 10th play right here. You see the flag come in as Austin sprints into the end zone, but will it hold up?
Offside. Defense, number 89. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
So Austin gets his 11th touchdown reception of the season. Geno Smith, his 30th touchdown pass.
And good things happen when you keep your playmakers on the field in the red zone. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. If you get him the football, great. Even if you don't, there's an advantage of having Trayvon Austin out there on the field.
So West Virginia has run a ton of plays in this half. They are dominating time of possession, 15-50 to 8-27, but they trail in the game 21-14. Trayvon Austin finding the end zone on a 10-play, 64-yard drive in 3 minutes, 17 seconds. Here in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and the many moods of Dana Holgerson right there. He thought the penalty was on West Virginia on this touchdown by Trayvon Austin. Well, it wasn't. So a quick apology to the headset manufacturer. And a touchdown for his Mountaineers.
Backup headsets on the side. They have to,
yeah,
right? That one couldn't have survived.
That was a tough throw. He's got an arm. Onside, well, actually a squib kick here, not really an onside kick. And Oklahoma State's going to get some very good field position out of here at the 41-yard line as we take our field position to the studio for an update.
Alabama behind?
How about at home?
Woo.
That's not going
Johnny
well.
football.
But don't give up on the #1 team in the country.
No question.
Now we'll see what Oklahoma State continues to run the football. Joseph Randall picks up a couple of yards there. Shaq Roll in there on the stop, number 90. Carl Joseph helped as well. Well, on that touchdown drive and with that pass, Geno Smith is now the all-time total yardage leader at West Virginia. And we have an injured West Virginia player in its role. Number 90. There you see just past spectacular Pat White, who had a pretty staggering career for Rich Rodriguez and the Mountaineers. Geno Smith now 30.
That's amazing.
Touchdown passes and just 3 interceptions on the year. And yet people are not mentioning him in the Heisman conversation
when you
anymore.
Start off with 25 touchdown passes and without any interceptions, that's just unreal. But it's what's happened the last 3 weeks. He hasn't looked all that effective, and they lose 3 games. So that's how Heisman favorites fall off the radar.
Well, there you see his career numbers as a passer and a little bit as a runner. He's not a scrambling quarterback. He can move all right, but this is what he did, and this is what really started the Heisman conversation, understandably, when you do that.
Those are video game type numbers. They really are, and That's why people had a hard time when the brakes went on this offense. It's like, is the world coming to an end? Those are unbelievable numbers.
That's for some teams is 2 weeks. 807 total yards.
Well, Tavon Austin had over 200 yards receiving in that game as well.
Oh, those two were unbelievable. Bailey had 13 catches for 303. Back to the air. Shelf drops it off to the 40-yard line, and it's caught. Josh Stewart, haven't called his name in a little while. He's been the most dynamic player in the OSU attack so far. It's a first down to the West Virginia 38-yard line.
And what an effective pass, because Stewart got in that void in the zone, and Pat Miller, the defensive back, was hanging out outside, so the ball placement was soft and inside, giving his receiver the cue to come back inside. Very well placed.
Back to the ground, Randall. That was a big hole there, and he was slowed down by Isaiah Bruce, 31. And now a flag coming in right about at the point of the tackle, the 31-yard line.
Personal foul. Crackback block. Number 84 offense. 15-yard penalty at the spot of the foul. First down.
That's the freshman from San Antonio, Austin Hayes, hit for that penalty. So that's, instead of a nice gain, it's going to be a big penalty against the Cowboys all the way back to the West Virginia 48. It's going to be first down and 20. Little play action fake. Touch pass. Beauty toward the end zone. Blake Jackson. Touchdown Cowboys. And Kelly, as you know, sometimes as a quarterback, you don't have to throw at 90 miles an hour to be effective.
You really don't. You just have to find the open guy, and off the play action pass, the linebacker, Jared Barber, number 33, was influenced just enough to give really the tight end playing inside receiver Blake Jackson time to sneak behind him, and the quarterback finds him. Very well executed.
It only took 70 seconds, 3 plays, 59 yards, and Oklahoma State recovering very quickly after the touchdown pass by Geno Smith. So once again, Geno Smith takes the field trailing by 14 points, as this is a little touch pass from Shelf to Blake Jackson wide open. Oklahoma State, 3-play drive. They've only run 24 plays. They have 21 points on offense and a kickoff return for a touchdown. West Virginia has run 44 plays in these breezy conditions here in Stillwater, but Clint Shelf in his first start for Oklahoma State, very effective. And here is a squibber trying to keep it away from Austin. Somebody better get this ball, and it is Oklahoma State's football. Can they hang on to it? Wait a minute. It's not decided yet. Teddy Johnson had a chance first, and it is Oklahoma State ball. Unbelievable. That says it all right there if you're a Mountaineer fan right now. Johnson had a clean chance at it, but it's Nico Ornelas who comes away with it.
And Sharp started the ball bouncing, and how effective it hits a player on the head and then bounces around, and West Virginia simply needed to fall on it and just couldn't do it.
That extra bounce on this turf, this is not grass, always makes the difference.
And off Bowie's helmet, number 13, and that's a way to keep it away from number 1, Tavon Austin.
And Randall in a little bit of trouble here. He took a shot there at the end, back at the 17-yard line, maybe the 18, so he'll lose 3 yards on that play. No, they're going to say the 18, so he lost 4. It's second down and 14.
And West Virginia is in big trouble here if their defense doesn't rise to the occasion. Dana Holgorsen understands that, especially on the road against a team that's going to put up a lot of points, the floodgates can open very, very quickly.
West Virginia could be creeping for the blitz. Here they come. A lot of pressure on Shelf, who hung in there and gets off the short gain to Austin Hayes to about the 11-yard line. 3rd down and 7 coming up. Pat Miller in there on the stop. What do you think of Shelf's performance so far?
I like it a lot. He seems to be a cool customer. What he's doing is doing what he's asked to do in this system. Let the system dictate where the plays are made, and he's been very effective at doing just that.
They marked it at the 12, so they need to get 8 for the 1st down. They'll just go off and get the block off the screen, but Stewart and Miller fought off the block, number 6, and made a terrific defensive play. Out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. Oklahoma State has a very, very good kicker in Quinn Sharp, a senior from Mansfield, Texas. He is the top active punter in college football. And this year as a field goal kicker, 18 of 23, and he hasn't missed a PAT, and there he is. You see what he's done. So from this distance, yeah, should be. But we do have a little bit of breeze. You can see it in the hair sticking out of the helmet there. Only 26 yards. No problem. Thundering it off Gallagher-Iba Arena. And Oklahoma State picks up 3 they didn't expect to get off of the squib kick, trying to keep it away from Tavon Austin. And it paid off better than they could have ever hoped. Well, let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary here, Kelly, and throw some numbers out there to give folks an idea who may just be tuning in what we've had so far in this Big 12 matchup. West Virginia trying to avoid a 4-game losing streak. Geno Smith now has the career record in total yards for West Virginia football.
And then Chelf has been very effective, 8 of 10. He's managed the offense, throwing to the open guy, just doing a very good job of whatever is asked in this system. And he's had a running game to go with it as well. The go-to guy has been Josh Stewart in the pass game, but that's what Oklahoma State does. They spread the field, they get the ball in the run game, the pass game, and then they have a quarterback that just kind of manages the system. So far, so good.
And they notice now that West Virginia has moved up Tavon Austin and Stedman Bailey to about the 10 and 15-yard line. There's Austin, and he is actually hovering around the 12 just in case. Here it is, another one, and he fields it. Boy, it looked like a shortstop there. He's got incredible moves, and he made something happen, and that's going to be an out-of-bounds hit. When you finish your tackle under the bench of the opposing team, you are most likely going to be hit with a penalty, and that's what happened with Ashton Lampkin there.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. And Quinn Sharp hit a line drive on that play, and that was the one that Tyler Lockett from Kansas State took 100 yards a week ago. And Tavon Austin had similar things on his mind right there.
So we'll get the mark off of the penalty. It'll probably put the football near the 45-yard line. There's a long discussion about this, but he's out of bounds.
There are 2 dead ball fouls on the kicking team. Personal foul, defense number 6 late hit out of bounds. Also personal foul, defense kicking team number 27. Both 15-yard penalties will be enforced. First down.
Whoa. So Lindell Johnson also hit with a penalty. Now we're seeing Mike Gundy with his first real outburst of the game. That's a 30-yard mark off, and so now the football is at the Oklahoma State 39-yard line.
And right now with West Virginia down 31-14, getting a touchdown right here going into halftime looks pretty darn good if you can only be down by 10.
West Virginia has 2 timeouts, as does Oklahoma State.
I think the wind is blowing down there on the field.
Yeah, every time he opens his mic. Now, one of his pagers went off, means that the replay folks want to take a look at something. I'm trying to do some quick math, which is very dangerous for a guy with a degree in broadcasting.
Don't hurt yourself.
I know. I'm trying to figure out if they've marked this penalty correctly.
That would be the question, whether they mark the penalty yards correctly or it's a clock issue.
I love this. He is trying to get the official.
Malfunction.
Okay.
There is no review.
All right. Well, there's no reason to review the penalties. You can't do that. But what was funny to me is Mike Gundy was trying to get the field judge to look at the scoreboard, and the field judge wasn't biting.
Yeah. No, I'm not falling for that one.
So this is the first time West Virginia has started a drive past their own 35-yard line, and they are way past the 35-yard line. They're at the 39.
Extremely important drive for West Virginia's offense right here.
Off to the left, Gino guns it, and the catch is made. Wrestled out of bounds. Stedman Bailey was so well covered you couldn't even see it was him. Justin Gilbert was right there, but a good throw by Geno Smith, and it's a first down. To the 27, a gain of a dozen. And now Austin. So dangerous. His lateral movement is spectacular. Ryan Simmons, 52, making the grab, the tackle, just a hair shy of the 20-yard line. It'll be second down and 3.
And Aurelia, number 83, doing a very good job in that screen game, out blocking for Tavon Austin.
Fakes it to Bowie. Looking toward the end zone, and in the back of the end zone, knocked away. Look out there, Ryan Nealon, the grandson of the great former West Virginia coach, was the intended receiver. Justin Gilbert was right there in coverage again.
And Nealon is not that guy that's going to go up and make a tremendous play at the end on the ball. Very good attempt, but obviously you can see it was well covered. But your playmakers all over the field, especially in the red zone, are Bailey and Austin. You have to find one of them, and right now in the 3-by-1, Bailey is matched up down below by himself down here.
West Virginia 3 out of 10 on third downs. They're facing 3rd and 3. Smith pump once, look out, he turned right into the defender. Coming in was Zach Craig, and it's 4th down. Back to the 24, they need 7.
Zach Craig, you can see coming off the bottom right there, and he wouldn't have hit the target on that blitz if there wasn't great coverage on the back end. The double clutch by Geno Smith, and it allowed the blitz to get home. First time we see Tyler Bittencourt try a field goal today. It's from 41 yards out. He's 4 out of 10, but his longest is 52. That's a good-looking kick. Tyler Bittencourt, the redshirt senior from Springfield, Virginia, puts back the 3 that Oklahoma State picked up off of the mistake by special teams and the Mountaineers. Well, this college basketball season's just getting going, and they certainly did so right next to us here at Gallagher-Iba Arena. They hosted Cal Poly for women's basketball, the first home opener since the death of head coach Kurt Butke and assistant coach Miranda Cerna in a plane crash last year, and defeated Cal Poly 90-59. Then in the evening, the men's team took over against Cal Davis out of Northern California, and LeBron Nash was 16 points and 7 rebounds. UC Davis was stubborn, but Oklahoma State prevailed 73-65. There's Gallagher-Iba right there, and as we pan, we show you that's where we are. Everything is contained right there, and you know what's also contained in 24 hours? ESPN's 5th annual tip-off marathon. 16 games over 24 hours, beginning with Monday Night Football in the NFL. Then you go to college. You've got Kentucky, Baylor women, 12 schools in the marathon made the tournament last year. 8 schools making their marathon debut, including Detroit, Harvard, Davidson, Valpo, Xavier. It's going to be spectacular. It always is. Now, Oklahoma State's got 2 timeouts. Let's see what they do with them with under a minute to go in this half. And on the kickoff return, Jeremy Smith gets it out to about the 30-yard line. That'll stop it with 49 seconds to go. What do you want to see Oklahoma State do here? Well, it'll be interesting to see what they trust Shelf with right here. Shelf hasn't been in this situation before. They didn't trust him when they were backed up. Remember the 3 conservative runs. So in short time, under 50 seconds with 2 timeouts, I would expect them to probe a little bit on first down and see if they get a positive play. And if so, you go for it. If not, you go into halftime. You see the yards per play. This is only the 29th Oklahoma State play on offense, as opposed to 48 for West Virginia. A lot of pressure on Chuff. What a performance by Will Clark, overwhelming the blocker.
And where they're ruling that an incomplete pass.
And that really should be intentional grounding. He was outside the pocket, but the ball has to pass the line of scrimmage, and it did not look like it did there.
I am corrected that it is not an incomplete pass. This is called a sack.
That explains it.
Right, 2nd down and 18. They've got to get a playoff to avoid the delay of game penalty. Then we'll get a timeout. West Virginia will take it. Dana Holgorsen thought that timeout came a little tardily, if that's a word. While he tries to work over his defense a little bit, Vizio brings us our BCS top 10. Florida, number 6. And I'm not sure why yet Louisiana Lafayette was punting with a couple of seconds to go.
That was an amazing finish. You're right.
I don't get that, but at the top, that's the score that's making noise.
Well, down here.
Yep, Louisville getting smoked at Syracuse. Yeah.
Took them out behind and beat them with a big stick for about 4 quarters.
FSU will move up. South Carolina, I'll be curious to see what happens with Florida with that close call against a very good Sun Belt squad in Gainesville.
I'm interested in K-State having to go to TCU in Dallas tonight. That's going to be interesting.
And taking a knee is the next idea here. Let's see if West Virginia will call that last time out or just take it into the locker room. And there's your answer as the clock runs down to the final second. So for Clint Shelf, his first half as a starting quarterback went pretty well. He and Josh Stewart hooked up. Clint Shelf with a couple of touchdown passes, and at halftime it's Oklahoma State 31, West Virginia 17. Stay tuned for the halftime report after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. Mike Gundy, and West Virginia comes in here on a 3-game losing streak, and they find themselves on the short end of our score. With Kelly Stauffer, I'm Dave Lamont. We welcome you back. And Kelly, a lot of coaches always say, well, we got to stop the run. Special teams and turnovers. Well, in this case, yes, it has mattered. Special teams has really, really mattered.
It really has. When you have two offenses that seem to score points and get up and down the field, the difference maker a lot of times special teams and whether you turn the ball over.
And Oklahoma State comes up with one of the biggest plays of the first half here, and a bit of a record setter here for Justin Gilbert. Watch him go right there. It's all over.
Incredibly well blocked, and then Gilbert takes it to the house, and a big play on special teams. We actually wouldn't have been surprised if it would have been the other team doing that.
Now, how about a 75-yard punt by Quinn Sharp, the reigning Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Year. And then this.
The quadruple doinker. A great kick, and off the nugget of buoy right there. And after multiple attempts, Oklahoma State is able to get on the ball.
By the way, for Gilbert, that kickoff return, his 5th. That ties a Big 12 record and is an Oklahoma State record. The other interesting thing to me is that West Virginia, Kelly, has run 18 more plays than Oklahoma State, but only has 4 more total yards.
Yeah, they haven't been able to get in the end zone. And the third down conversions right there, sustaining drives is obviously vital. 3 of 11 in the first half for West Virginia.
And they had come into the game with a very good rate of around 47, 46% West Virginia. And there you see Gilbert, number 4 to the right, awaiting the kick return, along with Jeremy Smith, who's seen a little bit of time at running back also. Windy day, and that's a good example right there on the kickoff. Smith may have to get somebody to hold it, and he will. 33-mile-an-hour winds in Stillwater. And pretty steady, too. It's not been gusty. It's just been nonstop. And it gives you an idea of which way the wind is blowing as here's Gilbert. And again, he sets him up. Oh, my goodness. He turned into a defender that time. It looked like we were about due for a replay as we take you through our Pacific Life game summary following that 31-yard return of the tackle by Ryan Clark.
He had a huge missed opportunity right here, and West Virginia drives the ball all the way down, and that goal line stand by Oklahoma State. Outside of that, it was a game really that we expected. I mean, offenses that can score points, and one was able to cash in the red zone, and the other one wasn't.
Yeah, who would have figured in this game we'd be talking about anybody making a goal line stand?
No question.
So excellent field position for the junior from Enid, Oklahoma, Clint Shelf, getting the start today over Wes Lunt, who was concussed last week. Didn't practice much, did Lunt, so Shelf was the safe choice, and he's played well. Straight ahead handoff for Joseph Randall for a yard before George Wright, a redshirt senior from Miami, bringing him down and see what Shelf has done so far, and he's been very, very steady.
Oh, yeah, look at that. I mean, the 2 touchdown passes, very efficient. But West Virginia's defense really hasn't forced him to make significant plays in third down situations in particular.
He only had 5 third downs in the game. They've converted 2 of them. There's Randall. Takes a hit there just shy of midfield. Carl Joseph came in up high to finish him off. Josh Francis had him down by the legs. There is Joseph, a tremendous freshman talent out of Orlando, Florida.
Oh, he's going to be amazing to see, Dave, in another year or two.
Yep.
He's going to be fun to watch, but very good run on second down to get in third and manageable. Once again, I think very important to keep Shelf in those type of situations.
Third down and a couple. Don't forget, Oklahoma State runs the ball well. 220 per game. That pass is tipped and almost intercepted. And so on 3rd and 2, Francis was the one who nearly caught it. Looks like Will Clark, 98, may have gotten a hand on it. Oklahoma State goes 3 and out. Surprised they didn't run the ball there.
Yeah, I think that's why you get in 3rd and short so you can run it. But a very good play. If you're not going to get to the quarterback, as 98 Will Clark was not going to do, get your hands in the passing lane, and however your defense can get off the field is a good thing.
So Dana Holgerson's offense for West Virginia will get the ball back after a very high punt by Sharp inside the 15-yard line. Austin was forced to make the fair catch. Nice job. You've got a strong leg as a punter, but sometimes you got to dial it back a little bit and get it inside the 20.
And sometimes for punters, that's the hard thing to do. You just don't boom it through the end zone. But defense was successful. 3 and out to start the second half. Geno Smith and this offense now needs to get off.
All right, what about Geno's performance so far today?
I think it was pedestrian. I think he had open receivers that he missed, but I think he missed some opportunities, especially down in the scoring zone, where this could be a different game at halftime.
And he starts with some poor field position from his own 12. Play action fake to Bowie. Pressure in his face. Nice looking throw. Caught by Bailey. Into Oklahoma State territory. Fighting off a tackler. Still going. What leg strength. And Bailey is brought down finally inside the 15-yard line by Daquan Lowe. But wow, what power shown by Bailey. That is a 75-yard gain.
Well, remember when Geno Smith overthrew Bailey in the first half? It's this exact same route. The post route coming from the left side, and this time it was incredibly well thrown, going the same direction, and then Bailey knows what to do after he gets it in his hands.
So all the way down to the OSU 13-yard line. Bailey will take a breather. Handoff. This is Andrew Bowie, and he is hit hard at the 10. Fights forward to the 9-yard line for a gain of 4. So it'll be 2nd down and 6. There were some concerns about Stedman Bailey being healthy for this game. There's your answer right there.
Yeah, not a bad essentially one half, and then he catches the big one to start this half. But he's been the missing link in this offense. You have Tavon Austin out there. He needs to sidekick Bailey, and he has him here today.
On 2nd and 6, play action to the middle of the end zone. Touchdown, Ryan Nealon. And that little knot of folks who made the trip from Morgantown and other parts of West Virginia, very, very happy with the grandson of the legendary West Virginia coach scoring.
And Dana Holgerson couldn't have asked for a better start to this second half. His defense gets a 3 and out, which they weren't able to do many times in the first half. And then their offense gets the big play, and they're able to finish the drive.
Well, that's kind of the offense that West Virginia showed us early in the season. 3 plays, 88 yards. Dana Holgerson's offense scores in 1 minute and 15 seconds. In the West Virginia receiving corps, he comes up with the touchdown, and this is what we showed folks at the beginning of the afternoon, Kelly Stauffer, that Oklahoma State and West Virginia can certainly run it up on the offense. Oklahoma State, a little trouble with turnovers. They haven't committed any, but all of a sudden, and look out here, an onside kick, and it's recovered by Oklahoma State. Boy, nice job by Torrance Carr, the redshirt freshman from Dallas, paying attention.
And I don't think this kick was actually destined or supposed to hit him, but he's very fortunate. He reacts really well. Typically, that's anybody's ball at the end, but Carr does a nice job of locating it and getting on it, and Dana Holgorsen takes a sigh of relief.
Holgorsen was the offensive coordinator here in 2010 when Oklahoma State was lighting up college football. And across the sideline, Mike Gundy looking at now the second best start field position wise for his offense. And Clint Chelf on the run out of the backfield, and he has Josh Stewart, who had a brilliant first half, scored 2 touchdowns, one on a end around, one on a pass, and it's a first down there into West Virginia territory at the 40-yard line.
And Oklahoma State wants to get it going just a little bit faster as well. When these offenses in the spread system have a positive play, that's when they put the pedal to the metal and pick up the pace.
Some pressure from the back from Chelf, and he finds his man incomplete. Charlie Moore was the intended receiver. Well, you know, Mike Gundy is going to be in an interesting situation. J.W. Walsh, who started some games and did very well, is close to coming back from a knee injury. Wes Lunt is clear to play if they need him. And now you've got Chelf, who's going to be a senior next season. He already went through a 3-quarterback battle in the spring of this year.
Yeah.
He's looking at one in spring of 2013.
I don't know how he's going to make that decision. I think Wes Lunt has the skill set that they like, so he probably wins out again, but you're absolutely right. Good luck with that decision.
They go to Stewart. Always a good decision if you're Oklahoma State, but good job by the West Virginia defense to slow that play down and allow Terrence Garvin and Isaiah Bruce, a couple of West Virginia linebackers, to make the stop. Garvin out of Baltimore and Bruce out of Jacksonville, and Bruce is just a redshirt freshman.
They have some nice players over there, and that's what happens on that side of the ball for West Virginia. They have to have some more birthdays. They have some talent. They just need more experience.
3rd down and 9. Chelf hangs in there into the pocket and overthrows, and you see Cecil Level grab his helmet. He was looking at Josh Stewart, the receiver, and might have had a chance to intercept that pass. So 4th down and 9, and suddenly the Oklahoma State offense has grown a little stale. Their last 3 drives, of course, one was right near the end of the half, so then they ended up taking a knee, have yielded nothing.
Yeah, and in the first half, Chelf really didn't have to throw into tight quarters in order to move the chains, and West Virginia defensively has forced him to do that so far in this second half.
Quinn Sharp with an unbelievably high punt. I can't even look out there and touch him. It's a live ball. Oklahoma State has it. Unbelievable. It hit Austin. He was trying to get out of the way, and it hit him in the knees, and Oklahoma State recovers it.
You can offense until the cows come home, but at the end of the day, guess what keeps showing up? Special teams, and particularly big plays on special teams. And Tavon Austin just seemed to forget his whereabouts right there. He was telling everyone to get away, and he was the only one that did not get away in the end.
How many punts do you see swing that way on the bounce? That's unusual, and I think Austin probably figured it was going to go out of bounds or toward the end zone. We got a flag here, and looks like we're going to get a false start penalty on the Cowboys.
Well, offense number 51, 5-yard penalty, first down.
The first down and 15 there.
And there really isn't any reason for him to still be in the neighborhood. I mean, the ball is bouncing. You're not going to pick it up. At least you shouldn't be thinking about it. You need to get completely out of the way.
He just went down the car wash, so to speak, and was getting a pat on the helmet from everybody from a trainer to an assistant coach. Tell him to hang in there. They're going to need him. Here's a little trick play here with Joseph Randall looking like he wanted to pass. He takes off instead, and the flag is well behind the play. Randall made something out of nothing, but I thought anyway.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense number 98. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Well, that's going to be on Will Clark. Kelly, I may be wrong, but I thought he was going to throw the ball there for a second.
No question about it. He was going to throw the halfback pass from inside the pocket. And I think Clark, number 98, went high on 58 Koenig right at the end. Right there. You can see it clearly. And what an unfortunate and untimely penalty if you're West Virginia.
Deacon Jones is watching this game. He's not happy right now.
Oh, he made a living at doing just that. A couple of head slaps later, and he gets to the quarterback.
First and goal from the 6. And they go to the Wildcat, and Joseph Randall is dumped immediately by George Wright, who was a nose tackle last season, a big redshirt senior out of Miami.
And George Wright, as a defensive tackle, makes a really nice fork. Boom, right there. Drop your head into the numbers, bring your hips, and it doesn't hurt if you're almost 300 pounds on a running back. That looked really good. And
they bring back Clint Shelf. Quick throw, fade pattern, fighting for it, and it is caught. Touchdown! On a day when Justin Blackmon is here, Charlie Moore made a Justin Blackmon type play. So off the special teams mistake, that's 2 times and 10 points. If you want to count the kickoff, we have to count the kickoff return. That's 17 points accounted for by special teams from Oklahoma State today.
There are 3 phases to the game, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we forget about that. Offense, defense, and oh yeah, special teams.
3 plays and a dozen yards in less than a minute. And just when the Stillwater crowd was getting a little silent with West Virginia on the move, a big play helped turn it around.
Tavon Austin was signaling everybody to get away, and he's the one that forgot to do it. And Charlie Moore, go up and make a play for your quarterback. Comes down with the touchdown in the end zone.
You know, Kelly, you should have shown up and thrown it around a little bit before the game.
Some really, really poor form on that field right there.
That wasn't nice. There's a beautiful picture, and before the game, this incredibly breathtaking F-16 flyover. This Veterans Day, ESPN is working with the USO to help lift the spirits of America's troops and their families. You see the Oklahoma Air Guard right there. Give a gift to our military heroes and their families through USO Wish Book. Visit uso.org/ESPN to grant a wish today. We certainly hope you do that. And as always, our thanks to the veterans. Wind has calmed down. It's now down to 28 miles an hour. It was 33 at kickoff. And every time there's a kickoff now, you don't know what to expect anymore. And we're going to get Stedman Bailey to take a knee as advised by Tavon Austin. So now here comes Geno Smith, who's been punching from behind. Now we have all sorts of flags and a conflict at the 35-yard line between one player from the Cowboys and one from the Mountaineers. That's Alex Elkins getting a lecture in sportsmanship from Mike Gundy and Nick Kwiatkowski for West Virginia. They got locked up behind the play. And Dana Holgerson just got the talk to the hand from the referee. So let's see if we get the offset or what.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 37 to kicking team, 15-yard penalty, first down.
All right, so now instead of the touchback, it'll be at the 40-yard line. Fans here are wondering why it wasn't called on both players. And Mike Gundy's wondering too. Well, Elkins is the top tackler for this team, an excellent linebacker, and he might be sitting out. Nope, is he in or is he out? Nope, he's going to be punished and sit out a play there.
He has to go to the quiet room and sit in the corner for a minute, a timeout, and then he'll probably be back in the game the next play.
At this facility, the quiet room would be about 5,000 square feet.
That's true.
My goodness, they've got some palace here, and that's going to be a great tackle in the backfield by Sean Lewis, the strong side linebacker from Missouri City, Texas, and a loss back to the 37-yard line. That's going to bring up second down and about 13.
And against this spread system, that's what defensive coordinator Bill Young told us, is you're only really a missed tackle away from giving up a touchdown, and Lewis made sure he made a nice tackle on that play.
They go back to the ground. Garrison, he'll get almost a lost yardage back as we visit with the studio right now. Third down and 11, and if you're noticing, it's getting a little chippy between these two teams who don't have much of a history of playing each other But you do have history along the sidelines for both teams. 3rd and 11. West Virginia's 3 of 11 on 3rd down. Pressure. Smith hangs in. Long throw. And did he catch it? Yes, says the official. Aurelia with a great grab. Or Aaliyah, pardon me.
Aaliyah made a great catch, but watch the protection up inside. Bowie makes this throw possible. Remember, rule to catch on the field if they take a further look at this one.
And they are.
Completed catch. The previous play is under further review.
So Connor Arlia again with Copeland leaving the team and Ivan McCartney not here anymore. Opportunities for guys like Ryan Nealon, who has a touchdown, and Connor Arlia to make noise, and they've done it. We'll come back with a ruling in a moment. And what a catch this is. Watch this. It wasn't even close. As I think most savvy football fans know, when you hear confirmed, that means the replay official agreed with the call in the field 100%. Dave Lamont, Kelly Stauffer here at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Big 12 matchup. West Virginia 2-3 in their first year in the Big 12. They've lost 3 in a row. Oklahoma State, both these teams fighting for bowl eligibility. Geno Smith, long throw. And it is a nice catch made by Tavon Austin, short of the first down.
West Virginia is doing a very good job right now of protecting Geno Smith, and it's allowing for these longer routes to develop downfield. And Bowie on that last third down conversion had a tremendous block and a blitz off the edge.
Austin 7 catches, 49 yards, 2nd down and 4. Out on the flat, it's J.D. Woods, breaks a tackle, gets a first down, breaks another tackle, and he's going to be down at the 20-yard line. He was finally brought down by Tyler Johnson. A good run by Woods, and he ran through some weak tackles.
J.D. Woods is kind of the third of the 3 amigos, and he gets this quick screen, makes a guy miss, and then it's the yards after catch that are so important in the spread system, and you can see it working well for West Virginia right there.
22-yard pickup. Smith with a fake. Again out on the flat. This time it's Stedman Bailey, and he'll run right down the sideline. Looks like he has the first down as Shamil Gary was able to knock him down. Justin Gilbert had the first look but could not contain Bailey, who now has 11 catches for 206 yards.
Defensive coordinator Bill Young told us yesterday they still lack confidence in their corners outside, and right now that's exactly where West Virginia is getting to.
Bailey now over 1,000 receiving yards for the season. Straight up the gut is Andrew Bowie, and he ran into Caleb Levy, who's played a whale of a game at linebacker, number 45 from Oklahoma State, a junior from Salina, Texas, and kept that from being a big play. 2nd and goal from about the 7. There's Bill Young, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State. There is Austin off the jet sweep, off the edge, moving laterally, face mask clearly around the goal line. And there's also a flag at the 5 behind the play.
And that's definitely going to be a holding. Quentin Spain, number 67, out on the edge, absolutely locked up the defensive end.
Offense, number 67, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So that's going to back it up to 2nd and goal and very long, but show the hold. Then I think there's a face mask at the end, Kelly.
Yeah, the hold is right there out on the edge. Just when the pressure starts to go outside, you can see Spain grabs him, and then at the end, face mask absolutely at the end of that play.
But only one flag counted, and that's not reviewable if you're wondering. So it's 2nd and goal from the 17-yard line.
That's a pretty egregious face mask to miss. That's interesting.
And that's just a mistake. Getting their legs tangled up, Bowie and Smith. That's another loss back to about the 20-yard line. Not often do you hear 3rd down and goal from the 20.
Yeah, the footwork between the quarterback and the running back. You can see right there, Bowie gets tripped up on the right foot of Geno Smith, and the result is a negative play that right now West Virginia has to overcome in the red zone.
Do you consider 2-down territory here at all? Down 14.
I think you do. I think we've already seen that in the first half out of Dana Holgorsen. Why not now if they don't pick it up here?
Pressure this time. Smith hangs in and through. Another miscommunication with Bailey, and I'll leave it to you, Kelly. Is that the receiver or the quarterback?
Bailey did not even look like he knew he was a live receiver in that play. And in the spread system, the beauty of it is you spread it and everybody is live.
So because they couldn't gain any yards on that play, they're going to bring out Tyler Bittencourt.
Geno Smith was trying the back shoulder throw, and Dana Holgorsen has no idea what his receiver Stedman Bailey was doing.
Remember, it is a fierce crosswind here, almost 30 miles an hour. This from 37 yards out. Really hasn't affected the kicking game that much as far as field goals and point after touchdowns. We've certainly had some interesting incidents with punts and kickoffs, but not on field goals. The kickers have done very well. Let's go back for a moment and show you what is the best example I've ever seen of a good hands play brought to you by Allstate.
Remember, this is picking up the third down to move the chains and lay out and come in bounds. The right shoulder was the first part of the body down for the receiver right there, Arleah, excuse me, and very good catch. And he's one of those guys that's getting extra playing time because of the injuries to McCartney, and then obviously Copeland is no longer on the team.
10 plays, 40 yards in 4 minutes and 21 seconds. It's interesting, both teams have had issues with receivers. Oklahoma State lost the tight end Justin Horton. They lost Tracy Moore. Isaiah Anderson's not been able to play very much. And so opportunities are there for the Charlie Moores, the Austin Hayeses, and for West Virginia for Ryan Nealon, who has a touchdown today. And you mentioned Connor Arleah. What the great thing is, they're taking the opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. The beauty of college football is when someone leaves or someone gets hurt, there are other guys that have to step up and they get their opportunity. We see it at quarterback play with Chelf on the other side doing a very nice job today.
Well, the last time West Virginia tried to kick it off, it ended up being turned over. And they will let Justin Gilbert, he's run one back today, but he's going to go ahead and take a knee. Well, you know what's coming to an end is the NASCAR season. Just a couple of races left, and the chase will continue in Phoenix. Brad Keselowski is right there with Jimmy Johnson, the 5-time champ. Only 7 points separate the two. There's only 2 races to go. The championship and NASCAR history on the line. The NASCAR chase for the Sprint Cup at Phoenix Sunday at 2 on ESPN. The pole sitter, I should say, is Kyle Busch, and he did that with a new track record. The average start for Oklahoma State's been their own 36. You see the third quarter has been dominated by West Virginia statistically, but Oklahoma State has the lead by 11 points. And that's going to be about an 8-yard pickup on the throw to Austin Hayes. Second down and a couple coming up. So many subplots in this game, and the biggest, of course, being even though Dana Holgorsen was just here for that 1 year, he had come in from Houston, where he and Kevin Sumlin were lighting things up over there, and comes to Oklahoma State and commandeers a huge offense, then leaves for West Virginia's coach in waiting and ends up becoming the head coach maybe sooner than some thought. And there's an interception for West Virginia, picked off by Terrence Garvin. Down to the 25, Garvin's got a lane, he's got protection, and he's got a touchdown, Mountaineers! And that face and that look says it all right there. A 42-yard interception return. There's Dana Holgorsen. And some of the folks here in Stillwater, that's the Shelf got that pass a little too high.
I don't think it was too high. I think it was just gone right through the hands of Charlie Moore. It was very well thrown, maybe a little high, but certainly should have been a catch. And Garvin there to pick it off. The curl route, a little high, but still catchable. And then Garvin is there to finish the play. We talked about turnovers and takeaways when there's a shootout. Which offense ends up making mistakes or special teams making plays?
And the ball has been marked. We called it a touchdown. The ball is at the 1-yard line. Garvin did not get in. It looked like a touchdown, but the official called him, and I think correctly, out of bounds at the 1. So wipe out the 6. Are we going to get a review?
Runner was short of the goal line. The previous play is under further review.
At first blush, I thought he got in. Let's take a look at the replay, because this is
Yeah, everyone in the stadium certainly reacted like he got in, but watch the left foot on the sideline right there.
He's out. Good job by the head linesman right there to hustle.
And I don't think he's leaning enough, because it's not only where that foot is, it's where the ball is when that foot touches out of bounds. But I don't think that ball was leaning forward enough to break that play. And I think that head linesman right there got it right.
That's Al Green on that call, and now that appears to be the correct call. Now,
you're certainly within a yard, though. I mean, right now they have the ball marked on the 1 yard line. We're within about 6 inches. You can see right there the foot is on the out of bounds line, and the ball is probably on the half yard line right there is probably where this is going to be marked. But a very good heads up play by the linesman, or the head lines judge, which is actually his role on that play to watch exactly that.
We thought it was a touchdown at first. The ruling on the field was down on the 1 yard line. And now we'll find out if that ruling is confirmed or not.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. He was short of the goal line.
But as Kelly pointed out, you only have to go a yard to get a touchdown here for West Virginia. So you would like to think that you're optimistic if you're a Mountaineers fan, but let's not forget Oklahoma State did have a goal line stand earlier in the game. They bring in Sean Alston, number 20, in that power backfield. They go to Smith, and he just fires his way into the end zone. Geno Smith was not going to be stopped. They're trying to rip the football, but the call is already made on the field. Geno Smith, 6'3", 220-plus pound senior out of South Florida, just overpowered. And he better be careful he doesn't get a taunting flag, even though he's just facing that knot of West Virginia fans. Now, do you go for 2 here?
I don't think you do. I think you go ahead and kick the extra point. I don't think you want to start chasing points right here early in this second half or midway through the third quarter. I don't think you do it right here.
You do have a long way to go in this afternoon here in Stillwater.
There's still some points to be scored here today, my friend.
So a 5-second drive.
They're the best kind.
Well, Mike Gundy knows how to play the game. You know why? He's a play quarterback. There he is. Look at the uniform. Look at the graphics. Look at the flea flicker from Thurman Thomas to Hartley Dykes, number 11 in the Sun Bowl in El Paso. And then look how the weather changes in El Paso. Look at Thurman Thomas skating along the ice. 157 yards and 4 touchdowns for the future great pro. And then the defensive stand against Major Harris. And the Sun Bowl goes to Oklahoma State over West Virginia. So we asked Mike about his arm strength. We're talking arm strength a little bit. He says, on a scale of 10, it was about a 5 or 6.
I think he was pretty honest with that. That's about where I'd have put him.
Now, this is one of the tasks of a head coach, I think, when things start to wobble a little bit, is you've got to show the right attitude on the field and on the sidelines to remotivate your team.
Yeah, and don't blink because of the role that special teams have obviously played here today. But it's the shootout. It's kind of balanced back to where we thought it would be, kind of a back and forth shootout, and who has the ball last.
So they've abandoned the squib kick idea. They're going to kick it to Jeremy Smith. Has a little bit of a lane, and that lane got a little larger, but he's bumped out of bounds across the 30-yard line to the 33-yard line as we will check in with the studio. That's something. But so is this game here in Big 12 country. Dumped off to the fullback, Jeremy Seaton, a redshirt freshman from Cashion, Oklahoma. That's his first stat of the season. Isaiah Bruce brought him down. That's going to be a gain of 4, so it'll be 2nd down and 6.
And Seaton really used as more of a tight end or H-back on that play. Just a quick play action to try to get Chelf settled in a little bit on this drive.
Under 5 minutes, Chelf coming off of his first interception, his first serious mistake of the game. They go back to the ground game of Randall, and he gets the first down. What a patient runner. Wright brings him down. Well, Oklahoma State has only run in this half 12 plays prior to those two, so they need to slow this thing down a bit.
And watch how Randall gets his own here. It wasn't extremely well blocked, but the yards after contact, he's a very efficient runner and gets the most out of the opportunities he has.
He's now over 1,000 yards for the season with 71. Shelf throws it to no one, frankly. 2nd down and 10 coming up. Looked like maybe Blake Jackson was the nearest in the gray, the slate gray for Oklahoma State. Uniforms that were revealed to the players an hour before kickoff.
And Blake Jackson really has a read on that play as he gets up the seam. Does he continue or does he hook it up? And obviously the quarterback and receiver were not on the same page right there.
And it looked like it was the receiver's fault based on that quick conversation with one of the assistant coaches. Shelf. That shoulder fake certainly worked, and there's another man who should be getting the ball a lot for Oklahoma State, Josh Stewart, the sophomore from Denton, Texas. He's had a wonderful game for the Cowboys. That's a gain of 26 and a 1st down.
Yeah, and when you need a spark, you need to find number 5, Josh Stewart. You can see right there, Chelf does a nice job of starting to one side and then find Stewart up the seam on the opposite side.
Stewart now 9 catches, 121 yards and a touchdown, and we have whistles.
West Virginia takes their first time out of the half. 30 seconds in.
So it's a short timeout. Stewart also has a 46-yard touchdown run in the first half for Oklahoma State. So he's had almost 170 total yards. Well, we thought, Kelly, that it was going to be this kind of game. A lot of points. Weather's good enough. We got wind. We don't really have any conditions that are that negative. What have you taken away so far? What do you think might happen as we get ready for the 4th quarter?
Well, what's been interesting in this second half, West Virginia's defense has been successful at forcing Chelf to make some plays in critical situations. And they've been successful with that. But at the end of the day, this is going to come down to what the offenses can do. Can Geno Smith get back out there and make plays down the field?
Would you consider this maybe a little bit more conservative approach for Oklahoma State, given that Randall is such a good running back?
Yeah, I think part of the MO for Randall is to keep him in the running game. I mean, the running game is very important for this offense. And so absolutely, that's always on the table right here in Stillwater, no doubt about it.
But Chelf's going to pitch it down the field this time. Has a man at Stewart, of course. Inside the 15, down to the 12. Cecil Level, the safety, came over, but Stewart now has 10 catches.
Yeah, and he's the igniter, the fire starter, number 5 is. And coming from the slot and running the corner, very well thrown. And Stewart's just an impeccable route runner. And a quarterback like Chelf throws a nice ball to that corner route like he did on that play.
He is only a sophomore, is Josh Stewart. Now they go back to the ground with Randall, and he won't get anywhere. Maybe even a loss of a yard that time. Is in the middle of the defense. Shaq Roll, who's back in the game, number 90, had missed a few plays with an injury, able to make the stop. So Will Clark was there as well. He has played very well. There you see Stewart so far today, so that's almost 100. Yeah, it is 185 total yards for Josh Stewart. A lot of pressure. Chelf hangs in there, gets it off to Kai Staley, who gets back to about the 12-yard line. Kwiatkowski on the stop. Chelf showed some poise. That could not have been an easy throw to make.
Yeah, the play action pass, and for a moment you have your back to the blitz. You have to get your head around. Chelf does a nice job of getting that ball off before he gets driven into the turf.
3rd down and 10. It was Terrence Garvin who did the driving.
And that play easily could have been a disaster if Chelf doesn't get his head around quickly.
Pressure from Kwiatkowski. Chelf stepped away from it. Now he's going to keep it, and he is not a running quarterback. Plus, he had quite a bit of company with George Wright, number 99, stride for stride. So with an excellent field goal kicker that Oklahoma State has in Quinn Sharp, might as well bring him out there and go for the 3.
See, I think that's exactly right. What you just talked about, that's a great decision by a quarterback in Chelf that hasn't been in this situation very often. Good job of avoiding the pressure inside, getting out of bounds, and then line up and try to kick a field goal.
32-yard attempt. And it's perfect. 41-34 with 2:22 to go in the third. 8 plays, 52 yards into 41. Show you're going to want to watch Sunday, particularly if Texas A&M can hold on, even if they don't, because it's been fascinating, is the BCS Countdown presented by Vizio. The dust is settled. Their analysts will break down the key victories, the losses, and reveal the latest BCS standings. Who goes up, who goes down, and we look ahead at the key matchups. BCS Countdown, Sunday at 8:30 on ESPN, then at 9 on ESPNU. It's presented by Vizio. And the current BCS standings, with Alabama in a dogfight with Texas A&M. Bama #1, of course. And there you see a game that I must say on game day that Lee Corso picked Texas A&M.
I heard him say that.
Yep.
You're exactly right.
And a lot of action coming up a little bit later on tonight. Florida with an unbelievable win at home over Lafayette. LSU, Mississippi State, that's going to be a lot of fun. South Carolina picked up a win today. The big news, of course, number 9, Louisville's unbeaten season is over. They were blown out in the Dome in Syracuse.
From the get-go. But how about Johnny Football? Is he on the Heisman, anyone's Heisman list? Is he showing up on that list yet?
You know, at this point, he ought to.
If they win that game tonight, it's a done deal.
Well, you get an idea of where the wind is blowing as you get an 80-yard kickoff by Quinn Sharp. But now here comes Geno Smith, who was at the top of that Heisman list after that crazy game against Baylor, when they accounted for 800 total yards and he had 8 touchdown passes. The 3 straight losses and the lack of offense in a couple of those games has knocked him several pegs down. But he's not even remotely thinking about that as he takes the field trying to. It seems like every time he's on the field, they're behind. West Virginia has been behind virtually every moment of this game. But now it's a reasonable 7-point difference. They pitch it to Austin. And good coverage that time. Oklahoma State stretched that out. Alex Elkins, 37, and Daquan Lowe, number 8, able to keep that from becoming anything spectacular.
Yeah, Elkins from his weak side linebacking position is actually the edge setter on that play. So he did a very good job of thinning that out to the edge, and Austin just simply had to step out of bounds.
That's a very long 8 here on 2nd down, coming up at the 2-minute mark in this 3rd quarter. Pressure in Geno Smith's face. He gets it off. Nice catch there by Woods. He's very close to the 1st down. Looks like he might have it. Elkins there on the stop.
Excuse me. That's the kind of throw that Geno needs to make just a little bit earlier. Woods probably has more running room if that ball comes out in a little more timely fashion than it did right there.
They do get the 1st down. Now here is Austin. Got the block to the 40. His lateral movement is remarkable. He's going to be a couple of yards short of the 1st down. 2nd down and 7. Excuse me, 2nd down and 3 following the gain of 7. I haven't seen too many guys this season who can move sideways and be devastating like Austin. A lot of times guys run sideways and they take themselves out of the play. Smith, middle of field, wide open, and he missed. Wide open was Jordan Thompson. No one near him. It'll be 3rd and 3.
And that's the kind of play that Geno Smith was hitting in the first 5 games, and he overthrows it in games in the last 3 weeks. We saw it early to Bailey today, and that just simply, you can underthrow that football and make your receiver come back for it when he's that wide open.
So suddenly a Giants 3rd down. 4 out of 13 the Mountaineers so far. Plenty of time. 1st down, West Virginia. Stedman Bailey, his 12th catch of the afternoon.
And the only real explanation with that last throw, the missed opportunity, is the wind driving the ball a little bit, going that direction. That's the 2nd time going that direction where Geno Smith has missed a huge play.
And the handoff to Bowie, and nothing doing. He will lose yards. Coming in at the top, Calvin Barnett, 99. Underneath, Lindell Johnson, the sophomore from Plano, Texas. Driving him back for a loss of a yard. 2nd down and 11. And Bailey today.
Wow.
He had 13-303 versus Baylor.
Well, this would be a great time for him again. And 2nd and behind the chains. West Virginia needs a positive play right here. He's up at the top by himself.
Shoulder shake, looking in that direction. They screen it instead to Dustin Garrison. Breaks through one tackle, takes a shot from low, down low, and will get it to the 45-yard line, back into Cowboys territory. So here comes another big 3rd down and 5, and we're going to have to wait for it just a little bit. 41-34, just what you want in your Big 12 shootout. This presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Fourth quarter, the NCAA active leader in most receptions with 259 coming in. He's caught 8 today, 16 touches, 6.4 yards per touch. That is well, Kelly, off of his average.
Yeah, and I learned something in chemistry class one time, and the longer you contain something with a lot of energy potential, the bigger the explosion is going to be eventually. He's probably going to get off before this game is done.
Going at him right now, and he can't make the grab. That was a clean one-on-one battle with Atwan Lowe. Well, they were thinking about it anyway.
They were, and this ball was obviously underthrown, and Lowe does a nice job after the players had touched the ball of going up and breaking it up. But Tavon Austin's strength is not going up and making plays on the ball above him. He's not a big receiver.
So a punt for Tyler Bittencourt here. And the idea, of course, to tuck it inside the 20-yard line, and he did. What a punt by Bittencourt. Can they play? They can't do it. It went in the end zone. They had a cone of players. They had 6 players around that football, and it was not downed at the 1-yard line. Instead, it'll be at the 20-yard line.
And Kyron, the true freshman right there, has every chance in the world to get that ball. This is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, all had opportunities to make this a huge play. Another special team snafu by one of the teams playing here today. I mean, it's been multiple opportunities to make plays in special teams. So
Clint Shelf and the Cowboys. Oklahoma State has certainly won the special teams battle today. Really the difference in the game at the moment is a kickoff return for a touchdown. They're going to get a first down here, though, as Shelf able to block it off to Josh Stewart, or throw it off, I should say, to Josh Stewart, who continues to have a gigantic game. He now has 199 total yards. He picks up 13 there.
And some of those plays on special teams, I mean, harken back to Tavon Austin's snafu. I mean, those are unbelievable.
Now, Austin got hit with a punt. He was trying to tell everybody to get away, and Oklahoma State wound up with a short drive and some free points. They've had 10 points off of 2 West Virginia big turnovers, and there's an incompletion. It'll be 2nd down and 10. That's the one area of the game where Tavon Austin has not had the impact that he's capable of, has been the kicking game today, the return game, against a team ranked 120th in kickoff return defense.
Yeah, and against a team that gave up 240 return yards against Kansas State a few days ago. So there were opportunities today that West Virginia just simply hasn't taken advantage of.
Still pitching it around the field. Screen pass set up. This is Randall. Excellent after the catch. He's right at the marker. Interested to see if they're going to give him the first down or not. It's either going to be 3rd and very short or 1st and 10. Pat Miller on the stop. It's going to be 3rd and short. 3rd and not even a yard.
We haven't seen a lot of screens to the running backs today, but a couple of times they've been extremely effective, like it was on this play.
Everybody taking a little breather for both offense and defense here. Randall. First down for Oklahoma State. Kelly, dictate the anatomy of a screen.
Well, typically you have some type of look this way when the screen is setting up on the backside. There's a little misdirection to create angles for the guys up front. But this offensive lineman getting down the field right there, and Brandon Webb, 51. This is the, look at that block. That's a big man getting downfield, being an athlete. that springs that play. Very well disguised and very well executed.
18th Oklahoma State first down. Down the sideline. What a catch over the shoulder made by Austin Hayes. What a lovely throw by Clint Shelf. First down all the way down into West Virginia territory at around the 20-yard line.
A great throw and a great catch will almost always beat very good coverage by Pat Miller right there on that play, but Hayes didn't give any indication the ball was getting there, and it was thrown perfectly into the front shirt pocket.
How about Shelf? 20 of 28, 272, 3 touchdowns and a pick, and that should have been caught. Second down and 10. In and out of the hands of Isaiah Anderson, who's been battling injuries this season.
But you see how Shelf gets the ball out on time. When an outlet receiver is setting out there, he doesn't make him wait. That's something that Geno Smith was doing early in the year, but hasn't been doing consistently well in his last 4 games, really.
Takes the handoff, bubble screen. Stewart got nailed. Garvin right there. Maybe a yard. Terrence Garvin, senior out of Baltimore. So we'll call it third down at about 9.5. Don't forget, Oklahoma State has Quinn Sharp, a tremendous kicker, as good as any in the country. So you can be a little buttoned up here, right?
You can, but you also like the decisions that your quarterback Shelf has made. Even though he's not experienced, you tell him, if it's not there, we line up and kick a field goal.
Gonna fire it wide open. Stewart. Did he score? Or is he out of bounds? Well, we're going to talk about it. The band thinks he scored, but let's take a look.
The Stewart coming from the outside position. Watch the effort at the end. I think that's a touchdown. I didn't see any foot that was out of bounds. The last one to touch was his right foot. We had a great look at it by that last camera, and then he reaches over. Anything that penetrates the pylon, it's a touchdown.
And that is the ruling on the field.
What a magnificent effort.
And just when Oklahoma State needed it most.
But once again, an incredibly timely throw by Chell. Getting that ball out on time with great ball placement allows Josh Stewart to make a fantastic effort at the end and close out that play. Dana Holgerson is on the edge of maybe getting in a little trouble here. He's clear down to the 15-yard line.
And he's going to take a timeout here.
He might want to just challenge this, which is going to be for naught.
He's not going to get that timeout back. They're only down to 1 timeout here with 12 minutes to go in a game where they're going to be 2 scores down. Now, I understand why he might think this wasn't a touchdown, but it's clear that that's what he's going to do, is challenge the ruling on the field of a touchdown.
Well, and he does get the timeout back if he's successful, but the reality is he's not going to be successful.
No. And in a way, yeah, there you go. You see, Josh Stewart says, come on, Coach Holgerson.
The beauty of a Jumbotron, he's looking right up at it saying there's no question about it.
Boy, what a day for Stewart. 13 catches, 172 yards, and 2 touchdowns receiving, and 1 rushing touchdown of 46 yards.
And he's a young guy right there, the right foot, then he goes airborne, and then he pierces the pylon. And even if he touched the pylon at the very outside of it, it's still a touchdown. But he got the ball actually across the line. And
the other thing is, I think somebody might go, well, wait a minute. And the ball got knocked out of his hand. But by that point, it had crossed the goal line.
The instant it penetrates that invisible shield that is the goal line that goes from the ground to infinity, it's a touchdown.
They confirmed the ruling without stopping play. Now, I never did hear it announced as a challenge, but they did take a timeout. So Oklahoma State has built back up yet another 14-point lead. Dana Holgerson turns his anger on his football team. And he's got 12 minutes and 5 seconds to do something about a team that could be looking at a 4-game losing streak. Why? Because they can't stop Josh Stewart today. Maybe nobody can. coach. He has been brilliant today. 13 catches. There you see his numbers and the rushing touchdown. So over 200 total yards from Josh Stewart. And he's not the big-bodied receiver they've had great success with at Oklahoma State. 5'10", and they list him at 178. So it's a different kind of a style that Mike Gundy has with Josh Stewart. Man, it's worked today.
Tremendous. And I would give him a helmet sticker just for that last effort on the touchdown. I mean, that was tremendous. He gets his right foot down and goes airborne and seeks the pylon, and it was successful.
Now the squib kick has been adventurous at best. This is going to go OB. And so great field position for West Virginia. How great was the touchdown? We'd have to show you again.
Josh Stewart runs the out route, and the ball is there on time, and then he plants his right foot, goes airborne, gets inside the pylon, and it doesn't matter what happens to the ball after the instant it crosses the goal line and or hits the pylon, which is one and the same when you're talking about a touchdown. Hey, I looked at Jumbotron and it said I scored. What's the problem here?
So West Virginia down to 1 TO. There's Stewart right there with a little extra eye black. Now from the 35 following the penalty. Flag down. Geno Smith down the field. It's knocked away by Justin Gilbert. Let's see what the flag is back in the West Virginia backfield.
Holding. Number 76. First down.
Well, the longer route down the field takes extra time and to develop, and the protection obviously was not there, and the holding call was called, but Gilbert doing a very good job of breaking on that post route that Bailey was running. Remember, Geno Smith missed Bailey in the first half on that and then hit him quickly in this second half, and that was the same play right there.
So now first down and 20. Out of the open. This is Nealon with a short gain. That ball stays with West Virginia as we take a trip to the studio. We got a couple of candidates in this game. Stedman Bailey for West Virginia and Josh Stewart for Oklahoma State. Geno Smith guns it to the middle of the field, and it's going to be caught at the 38-yard line by Austin. 7 yards short of the first down, though. There's a gigantic third down. Plenty of time for Smith. The long throw too high. Trying to get it to J.D. Woods. Now, 10:57 to go. 4th and 6. A lot of time, but, and they're going to, do they go for it? Looks like they're going to. Bailey comes back into the game, number 3.
I think I would have punted this away. I think that's Dana Holgorsen not really believing that his defense has it in him to get a stop, to give him the ball back.
Well, they've given up 41 points. Maybe he has a reason to believe that. Knocked away. Smith was boxed in, and Sean Lewis stuffed the pass, and Oklahoma State takes over on downs. One thing I noticed there, Kelly, they weren't going to let Geno Smith run.
Yeah, they did a very nice job of rushing him and containing him. He's not a guy that wants to scramble and get routes, but wow.
Oklahoma State
right there.
They'll take over, Kelly, at the West Virginia 39-yard line. What a beautiful stretch of weather we've had here in Stillwater, Oklahoma the past 48, 72 hours or so. Gorgeous day, windy, but it's Oklahoma. You kind of expect that. Just an outstanding day, but not necessarily for the West Virginia special teams, Kelly.
Yeah, one snafu after the other. The double doinker kick that goes off of Bowie's head, and eventually Oklahoma State ends up with it. But it was just one after another.
And that, in many ways, is the difference in this game. Is Chelf with a little bit of a quarterback draw. First time he's taken off today, and he'll get 14, maybe even 15 yards to keep the chains moving. He downed himself after a 16-yard pickup at the 23-yard line.
Well, he's not exactly a pretty runner, but you can see he fakes the bubble screen to the outside, and then he goes up inside with blocking intact. Very effective.
And they stay to the ground, this time with the outstanding Joseph Randle. He took a hit at the 21-yard line. He's a little tentative. Josh Francis, who's tied for 9th in the NCAA in tackles for a loss. And Randle takes himself out of the game for a moment.
But what you want out of Chelf right here is just don't make a mistake. Run the offense as you have been, and if you throw the football, it's not clean, throw the ball away.
And again, you've got Sharp as an excellent kicker. They hand it off to Jeremy Smith, and he may go. Touchdown, Cowboys. And the #2 offense in the NCAA. Only Baylor has gaudier numbers, has put up 47 points. Well, we're waiting on the PAT to make it 47, plus they have a kickoff return touchdown.
And that's what Oklahoma State brings to the table that West Virginia doesn't do consistently well. They run the football effectively. Spread the defense out, get a hat on a hat up front, and the numbers are in your favor.
Well, West Virginia, during their bye week, went recruiting for junior college talent for next year's defense. They might need it. They are young. And West Virginia now in the biggest hole they've had all day. To have a happy ending, you better have your friends to fall back on. Even if they make it worse, it's being called the best comedy on TV and Comedy Gold. And a blast to watch. It's the all-new Happy Endings, Tuesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on ABC. Well, I always talk about how do you handle adversity. After it was 38-34 when West Virginia ran the interception and scored the next play, Oklahoma State has taken off.
They really have. Chelf has done a great job of making decisions, and he has the playmakers around him, and he has an offensive line that does a very good job in the run game. That's the difference here tonight.
And there is another squib kick. Big bounce, and it gets by. It's a live football. And that's finally fallen on inside the 10 by Tavon Austin. Again, we're on a turf field, so that kind of bounce you're going to get. And Sharp obviously knows how to do this, too.
No kidding. How effective is this? Just get it bouncing early and let it kind of create momentum on its own. West Virginia very fortunate to get that one back. One earlier in the game, obviously, they did not get back.
We knew what we were doing for once when we picked him as an impact player, Quinn Sharp.
I'm glad that was my idea. Actually, I give our producer, Eric Postman, we argued with him a little bit. Actually, you did. I didn't really.
Well, I tend to argue with him anyway, but in this case, he was right. He's Kelly. I'm Dave. We thank you for joining us. We certainly appreciate you coming by on a college football Saturday where the #1 team in the country is wobbling. We've had some of the top 10 teams in the BCS go down in the last second. We've lost one undefeated team today. And on the ground goes West Virginia with Andrew Bowie. And we'll see what kind of hurry-up offense down by 21 West Virginia runs. Second down and 5. Geno Smith has a little bit of room here. He'll take off and get the first down. And you might have heard that. Somebody yelled out, "Don't hit him." And I don't think it was a West Virginia coach who said it. They would have accepted the 15 yards gratefully.
And what West Virginia has to solve is the defensive template right now is to rush only 3, sometimes 4, very seldom bring pressure, and force this offense to make plays in tighter spaces than they used to. And right now, they're just not being consistently effective at doing such a thing.
And they go to Bowie. And he'll get to the 25, and he is just wrestled down David L. Collins and Nigel Nicholas. Of course, this is a school with, we're only like, what, a mile from the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, and they certainly love their wrestling in Oklahoma. First year in the Big 12 for West Virginia, and they have hit a patch of ice in this conference. After coming over as the defending Big East champions and Orange Bowl champions, and man, did they hang it up in the Orange Bowl with 70 points. But things have changed as Geno Smith has had all day to find somebody. Still can't. Dumps it off incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 7. And that's not a sack, but it's as close to a sack as you can get without hurting the quarterback.
And that epitomizes what I was just saying. They were only rushing 4 was Oklahoma State's defense, and they're not getting to the quarterback, but they're containing him, but they're covering down the field with 7 and covering really 4 wide receivers. Bill Young has to be really happy with his coverage on the back end.
And he has to be thrilled with the defense and that number right there, 5 out of 16 on 3rd down. Pressure, look out here. He throws in the direction of the blitz, and it's incomplete.
The next step is the timely pressure that Bill Young brings right there, and you can see Zach Craig blitzes off the corner, and it forces West Virginia to throw an outlet receiver, which is Cody Clay. Cody Clay is not going to hurt you, and you force the quarterback to try to get the ball to him.
And Geno Smith, he has been hard on himself, Geno Smith, and during this losing streak, shouldering a lot of the responsibility, rightly or not. And certainly as a quarterback, you bear that. You've gone through it when you played. But you got to have some help, too.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And I think the difference is on the line of scrimmage. I don't think they can run the football when the numbers favor a running game.
Charlie Moore trying to find a hole. He'll get out to the 23-yard line. So Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy following that 6-yard return in control as Geno Smith's first visit to Stillwater not going well. Well, folks in West Virginia and their very passionate fan base, it's a long trip to get from Morgantown to Stillwater. And that kind of look from that young man there says it all. Tough day for the West Virginia after we got to 38-34 and a short gain for Jeremy Smith. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Oklahoma State has pulled away in part because of the play of this junior quarterback Clint Shelf. Finally gets a start. What a day for him.
Yeah, harken back to spring football when you have this quarterback competition and you come out of it in 3rd place out of 3. And he went back home and worked extremely hard, not knowing if he'd ever get an opportunity. You don't get reps in practice, and you kind of get forgotten about until a couple of guys in Lunt and Walsh get hurt, and this young man comes in and plays extremely well. I'm really excited for him.
I'm fascinated to see what happens in the next weeks for Oklahoma State. Talk about that after the Smith short gain there. It'll be 3rd down and about 5 because J.W. Walsh is about a week, maybe 2 away from coming back. Wes Lunt could have played today if they needed him. Probably good that the young man gets a little bit more time to recuperate from a concussion. And still to come for Oklahoma State, Texas Tech here. Oh, the Bedlam game on November 24th, and then Baylor, which could be the first game to have somebody score 100.
I think if Wes Lunt is all the way back and healthy, I think he takes over again. I think that's the way it typically works with coaches. You don't lose the job because of an injury, and if he's healthy again from that concussion, I think he's back on the field.
Well, there's a solid tackle that time by Corey Harris, a freshman from St. Augustine, Florida. And that'll not be a 1st down, so we're going to get one of the players of the game come out. Quinn Sharp, it looks like. Although Mike Gundy's going to milk the clock a little bit here, too.
Well, this is another way to use your timeouts. Let it run down and then burn one of your timeouts. You don't get to take them to the next game anyway, and you have 3 left.
All right, Mike going to go ahead, and it's a wise move there. No need to rush, and the 5 yards really don't matter when this guy.
Yeah, when he hits another 75-yarder.
And there's the delay of game penalty.
So there's no reason to take the delay right there.
Offensive team substitutes. The defense has an opportunity to match up. It's a delay game. 5 yards, 4th
No need to be angry, folks. You've got a good punter. He's had one over 70
This might be a
yards.
rocket
Look out
shot.
here. And they almost got a piece of that. And instead of a rocket shot, look at the roll he's getting. Everything going Quinn Sharp's way today. That's going to roll down to about the 15, 16-yard line. And he continues to be one of the top players of this game. We have a flag, but let's go to the studio first.
Typical formation on the kicking team, number 23. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. We'll replay 4th down.
Yeah, it's a good night for carrying food, folks. Don't go anywhere. And just load up, sit back and relax. The penalty is on Oklahoma State for an illegal formation. So we'll get one more look at Sharp. Returning Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Year.
And it'd be nice if Oklahoma State would protect better so we can see this young man just get into one. Because this might go to Tulsa.
They got a piece of it. You could hear that was partially blocked. And West Virginia had better get out of the way, and they do. Everybody had better get out of the way, and it's down at midfield. So they went right up the gut at him. They almost got the previous punt that was wiped out. This one you could clearly hear was hit. So good field position for West Virginia and Oklahoma State territory, actually, at the 49-yard line as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. And on our game summary, we have some of the big numbers of the game, and that is some steady offense from Oklahoma State.
Wow, and you just can't be impressed enough with Chelf's opportunity he got here tonight and take full advantage of it. I mean, to not only just be serviceable, but he was more than that. I mean, the 4 touchdown passes, the 1 interception was actually one that went through Charlie Moore's hands. So he's played amazingly well in his first start.
Geno Smith, this is Bailey, and this time they're all over him. Lindell Johnson, who's come on in the game, and Bailey's got to be exhausted. That's his 13th catch. He has 212 yards. He's actually lost 2 yards on that one. Of course, he's caught 13 in a game before against Baylor. That was a happier day for West Virginia as they appear to be on their way to a 4th straight loss. And at this moment, they're still not even bowl eligible. And West Virginia's got to play Oklahoma in Morgantown, however. Then they go to Ames, Iowa, Thanksgiving Friday. That's never an easy place to play. And they close out with Kansas in Morgantown December 1st, where they will certainly be expected to win. Geno Smith, good footwork there, and he gets the pass off. Another catch for Bailey. Man, give Bailey a lot of credit. He will not die easily. Broderick Brown brings him down. That's going to be a first down for West Virginia on Bailey's 14th catch.
And Bailey is obviously the security blanket for Geno Smith. Running the comeback, does a nice job of working back toward his quarterback down the sideline. And after he makes the catch, he's a nifty runner as well. But they just couldn't get the ball to him enough tonight, although 14 touches for 225 yards. What, do you have to double that?
Wait a minute. I was going to ask you that. How many more times?
Well, there was at least 2 opportunities down the field for big plays when Geno missed it. Figure that into the scoring right now, and it's a different story.
Well, he went for him again. Now, the other thing is Bailey says, you know what? Can I hydrate? It's a long trip home. I don't want to cramp up on the plane. The other thing is that Tavon Austin has 9 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown, but he hasn't been as effective. You think because Oklahoma State just game planned him more?
Yeah, I think you're right. You can get the ball to receivers getting up in the morning and off the bus when you get to the game. It's the effectiveness of those touches, and there have been more opportunities left on the field that would have made a difference in this game.
A little pressure this time from Oklahoma State. That's a beautiful catch. And by Ryan Nealon, that was a nice grab. Getting an opportunity to play, comes up hobbling just a little bit. So Bailey has now tied the school record for most receptions that was set by Austin in that Baylor game with 14. On the ground, Dustin Garrison. And he will be short of the first down.
See, and that play right there, to me, Dave, epitomizes where West Virginia is in this offense. It's essentially the same stuff that Oklahoma State is doing. Dana Holgorsen has installed both of them, obviously. But when you need to run the football, Oklahoma State's incredibly effective, and West Virginia just isn't consistent in that part of the game.
Geno Smith backpedals, throws. Is that a catch? Yes. Austin with his 10th grab. That was terrific. Well, what's happened for West Virginia since 2000, when they have scored 30 points or more, they're 80-4. Last week was just the third loss, and now they're en route here to going 80-5, back-to-back losses when scoring 30 points or more, which is most unusual.
Welcome to the Big 12.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, the other thing that's interesting is Austin makes another grab. That'll be short of the first down, and it will be off the tackle by Gary up to about the 13-yard line. Is the junior college route that Dana Holgorsen appears to want to go, particularly to beef up his defense.
Yeah, you need an extremely big fix on the defensive side. You just need to incorporate more playmakers, and that's a great way to do it. Kansas State has been successful going the JUCO route more than on one occasion in Snyder's tenure there.
A nice job there by Nealon with the footwork right at the mark. Stops the clock with 2:12 to go. Oklahoma State will become bowl eligible if they can hang on here, and it certainly appears that they have every reason to be optimistic. Fun team to have in a bowl game. Down to the 5-yard line. Inside 2 minutes. David L. Collins on the stop.
The Oklahoma State's quarterback situation is going to be interesting down the road. Actually, probably starting next week.
Starting, I would say, when they break down the tape of this and then try to figure out what to do with Lunt. That's him, number 11 right there. There's Chelf, number 10. He's had a brilliant game today. You can't dispute it. That pass well off the mark, and you're going to have to give that ball back. This isn't baseball.
Well, and the thing is Wes Lunt really represents the skill set. Someone like Brandon Wheaton that they have the last couple of years.
By skill set, what do you mean for this offense?
Big arm. Okay. Big arm, and you can make all the throws from anywhere on the field, which is what this offense is about. He can't run the football all that effectively, but that isn't the style. They use the running back to handle that part of it in this offense.
And that's spiked to the ground, volleyball style. That's that's Justin Gilbert who did that.
Want to learn how to break on a ball. The receiver looks open, the ball's there, boom, break on it. Justin Gilbert does a nice job of not only breaking, but breaking at the right angle, that front shoulder, and knocking that ball down.
So this is the last stand here for West Virginia against Mike Gundy's defense to get any more points. Pressure. Geno Smith got hammered, fires it incomplete. Oklahoma State will wrap it up. How about the call from Bill Young, the Oklahoma State defensive coordinator?
Yeah, Sean Lewis coming off the edge and was untouched. He talked to us, did Bill Young, about the timeliness of that pressure. You know, the risk to reward of bringing pressure in a spread system. Well, this game is essentially over with. He brings Sean Lewis off the edge untouched, and this isn't fun if you're a quarterback. You know you have to get rid of it. Your receiver isn't out of his break yet. You have to get rid of it anyway.
Then you're down by 21 points.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that part.
Well, Oklahoma State had questions at quarterback. They were answered by Clint Shelf, which, as Kelly said, will now lead to more questions.
Right.
But you know what? Mike Gundy probably has a 24-hour happiness rule that allows him and his staff and his players to enjoy.
Personal foul. Chop block, number 60. Combination high-low block. After distance to the goal. First down.
I was going to say the 24-hour rule a lot of coaches have is, hey, you get 24 hours, you're happy, and then we'll get back to work. I've also heard coaches talk about they're unhappy by the time they walk off the field.
Yeah, you start replaying all the negative plays, but Oklahoma State, this is getting out of hand in this victory formation.
Yeah, this isn't necessary at all. This is where the officials are going. I think are doing the absolute right thing. They've all come into the formation. .926 total yards in this game today, and 89 points.
Defense on the nose guard, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That was probably the retaliation for the previous chop block. And I think Mike Gundy wants a timeout to get his guys in order.
I don't know how there could be a chop block in this point in the game, why you would ever consider that. Now, this is interesting. We can't read Mike's lips, and perhaps we don't want to, but
it has something to do with act like you've been there before.
Yeah, I think he just wants everybody to cool off. You do something dumb now, it could have, you might get a suspension from the conference. There's all sorts of things that could happen, none of which are good if you're Oklahoma State.
Yeah, the game obviously is over with. Just let the time run. Both teams need to do that. Show a little class, gain some composure, and get off the field and go home.
You learn how to win and lose gracefully, and we'll hope we get through the last minute 18 here without any more incidents. There you go. It's all it has to be. You can appreciate the build-up for West Virginia. They were hyped. You commented before the game. You noticed an extra spring in their step in pregame warm-ups. It's going to be a little bit of a longer trip back to Morgantown for them.
And I think they could feel the energy from Dana Holgorsen. I think this game meant a lot to him. He wanted, there was something to prove coming back in here. He was here for 1 year, had a tremendous impact. His offense is still being ran on the other side of the field. He obviously wanted to perform better than his team did here tonight.
But his problems weren't with his offense. Although they didn't have maybe the best day, they still put up 479 yards, ran 91 plays to 66 for Oklahoma State, that one being the 66th right there, which wasn't very effective. So Dana Holgorsen, who said, I've spent more time on the visiting sideline than I have on the home sideline. A couple of nice words there between the two coaches, talking about perhaps the way the end of the game, but it's Oklahoma State, now bowl eligible. Geno Smith's team has lost 4 straight. Smith today, 364 yards and 2 touchdowns. Once again, our final score is Oklahoma State 55 and West Virginia 34. Do not forget tonight at 8 Eastern, Notre Dame versus Boston College. For Kelly Stauffer and our entire crew, I'm Dave Lamont saying so long from Stillwater, Oklahoma, and good night.